I had a bunch of trees in my yard removed because they were dying and like rotting. And these people destroyed my yard. It's as though I paid for a tree removal and lawn destruction service. Like so like yeah, and they're the best in biz, let me tell you. Because they basically in my backyard, I live in a wooded area, tons of trees.
We really focus mostly on the yard destruction.
we focus mostly on ruining your yard.
Is your backyard nice?
My backyard is way less nice than it was after they wrecked it. It's my front yard that I'm pissed about.
The grass. Is it grass or weeds cut to the same height?
No, it was grass. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I said was grass. Yeah. So basically it was 6 trees that I needed removed in my backyard because they were all either dying or rotted or just like looming over my house and making me anxious. And so I figured, just let's rip the Band-Aid off because trees are expensive. All 6 of them down. I'll either have to do
how much
it. Yes, you can, and I'll surprise you with it. All right. And
you want me to guess now, or
yes, guess now.
6 trees.
Yep.
Like big trees. Like
the smallest of them were probably that big around.
Did he
go?
Did he have to go up and climb the trees with a chainsaw?
Oh yeah, on all 6 of them.
Dude, did that cost you $3,000?
Cost me $4,900.
Okay.
That's rough.
And I guess it's more expensive sometimes. Like they charge you more depending on how much it's like how close it is to your house or whatever. It's a couple of them were like right.
It was $800 for me for one. So I was hoping you got the like bulk discount.
Dude, that was the bulk discount.
Holy shit, that's the math. $4,800.
Yeah, that was the big, because the guy like this is the one part that was decent is when I was calling around about it in my head I'm like fucking it's gonna be $10,000. And when I called him in December, the dude was like, yeah, nobody gets trees removed in December, so I'm just trying to keep my crews working, because so here you'll get a super cheap price. And I was like, all right, that works for me. And they come and they start removing the trees. He tells me it's going to be a 1-day process. I'm no genius, but I was even in the moment like, what do you bring in like 50 people to my house to like just like all at once? Like you're like, no, this is going to take longer than that. And so he comes on like a Thursday a few weeks ago, and they start doing their shit. And the next day was obviously Friday. They come back to start again. And all they did the first time was really kind of get set up and like tie stuff around the trees, like to kind of like look at the leverage points and whatnot. Then nothing had started. And that Friday I was leaving town to go to my grandparents. And so as I'm leaving, there's like getting a bunch of work done, like sawing the trees and everything. And I'm already noticing like my yard looks like shit. Like they drove through it with the, so my yard, you know how there's a straight line from the road through your side yard for every house in existence. You know how you could, if you want to walk from the front left portion to the backyard of a house, you would walk straight past the back left side of the house, just straight. If you wanted to walk past the right back side of a house. What they did is they set up their machine and drove across my yard. Their machine started on the left side of my house and then ambled up next to my goddamn mailbox.
And this is like a private company. It's not like from the city or anything like that.
This is supposedly a decent company. Bro. They drove across my entire yard in wet weather. And then I guess they didn't like that route. And in that route, they destroyed a swath 8 feet by the entire length of the entire yard. That's mud destroyed. And then I guess that approach wasn't working because while I was I know. And while I was out of town, I guess they didn't like that route on day 2 for Saturday, because the next day they took it right to the right side of my house and they drove a whole new path through my yard, and they didn't put boards down, and it was wet. And I got home Sunday and I laughed when I saw my house. I went,
as would I.
Because they've destroyed my yard.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Destroyed.
That's a
it's raining all the
crazy
time.
thing to do.
Let me ask you this.
Let me real quick. When I got back on Sunday, I'm getting back from my grandparents' house. I just wanted to relax and play Age of Empires 2 all day. I'm full of steak. I've got some other steak she sent me home with. I just want to play Age of Empires 2 and get stoned and eat more steak. And I try and log on to the internet, I have no internet. These guys
now we
dug
got
so
problems.
deep into my yard without the board, with the tracks on their machine, that they physically severed my internet line. It didn't unplug it. It didn't misalign it. They drove so deep through my yard, they severed my fucking internet line.
That's fucking crazy.
And
Honestly,
these
I would
fucking
I would
cunts-
fucking eat their
Oh,
children. Praise be
Dude,
to Allah.
this guy, they praise be to Allah.
Fucking you
These
love me,
guys,
fucking
they came back yesterday because the guy told, I knew something was amiss because on the Friday after I left,
Something's
a
amiss.
lady from the company
You're like
called me
lawn's torn
and
up.
was
You're like,
like,
something's amiss.
hey, there's a bunch of stuff with your yard. We're gonna take care of it. And I was like, at my grandparents. I'm like, okay, so it's even worse than it was when I left. They came back yesterday. The owner or manager of the company, he wasn't there yesterday. I wonder fucking why. I wonder why he didn't want to fucking talk to me. And he sends his like goons, the workers, and they throw down some straw haphazardly. And then they come to my front door and he's like wanting me to inspect it and like pay him $5,000. And I was like, I get it. Like, you guys are just doing your job, but this is in like, and I always keep it like calm. Like, I'm not someone to like freak out.
Sure,
And,
you can't. Yeah,
I'm
yeah, you
always
don't
very
wanna-
calm about that stuff. And I
yeah.
was like, honestly, like, this is unacceptable. I know all the four of you guys here. If you guys, if you at your home hired someone to remove a tree and they did this to your yard, I can't imagine what you guys would be thinking. And that's what I'm thinking right now. So
Bro, that's
if you need to tell your
$5,000 of
boss,
damage.
you know, and I told him, I'm like, I'm not going to give you guys a dime until my yard is returned to the way it was before, because this is absurd. I'm going to be getting fines from my HOA.
no.
Like, do you have any idea how horrid this is?
You're
what
like,
you guys
Elon
have
Musk
done?
is trying to ruin my life.
Oh
If
my
my
God.
mom
Elon Musk
offers
is trying to
speed,
ruin my
he will
life.
fucking
Yeah.
kill me.
And so my yard, I can send you a photo after the show. My
wanna see
yard
it.
is fucking destroyed, ruined. It took me so
Oh,
long
no.
to get grass growing well in my yard
I
because
know,
the
yeah.
previous owners treated the yard like shit. And so I had to like reseed so many times, and I took
Bro,
the aerator out
now
there
that
for
I
so
have
many
a
times.
house, I
Oh, you took the
understand
aerator?
this.
Yo, no, this is years
I
ago when I had to
understand. Oh,
originally
but
get the
grass?
yard going.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now that
worked
I have a
hard.
house, like I understand. I had a water ban
Fucking
this
pissed.
past summer, so we
A
couldn't you couldn't water. You can't
ban.
use water, and like so, I would stand out there and like literally be like, "This is money. The grass is money. I know that now because I bought it, and this is money, and I need to use my sprinklers, but I can't."
Yeah.
And like my neighbor across the street didn't give a fuck about the water ban. And I did sit there like looking through the blinds and I was like, if I was a little bit angrier with my life, I would snitch on you. I
Let me ask you a
understand why
question.
some neighbors do shit like that. I'm like looking out the window. I'm like, he's not allowed to be watering the lawn right now.
Dude,
But he's
why don't
fucking
you just
doing
water
it.
it?
I
Shut that
respect
down.
him.
why don't like what would they do if you just had a tank of water? And if anyone asked, you'd be like, "Oh no, that's from that tank of water." Well, where do you get the water that goes in there? No, I truck that in.
It's rainwater.
That's
You
rainwater.
could do that. I understand. This is like an advanced,
But-
advanced lie. Like I understand. I kind of like that strategy.
You don't
of
use
it.
that water to water your lawn.
No, I understand. I understand.
You just
It's gonna
have a tank
come.
of water that
You're
always stays.
like, I have a
Not
tank of
half
water.
full.
No, like I literally, like,
Evaporational, like,
no,
take
you're
care
right.
of.
But you know what you're right about is that you could pay like if you were like really didn't give a fuck about money, you could pay to have like a water company come and literally
Yeah.
do it because they're allowed because they're bringing water from elsewhere. Water is
they'll
heavy,
No,
all that.
My
But
water,
if I paid instead of paying that, if I just paid a truck to come by every day and refill my water, and
That's
it
what
was
my
like just
company
my
does.
buddy in a truck. Yeah.
that's what my company does. We have a water truck that's fucking empty. Right? We drive it around and charge you half of what the actual water truck costs. We don't do
good.
fuck all, and then you just hook your hose up to your spigot and let her have it, boy.
What did you just say?
You heard me.
Look, your hose up
Spigot.
to the spigot.
Oh.
Y'all
Is
don't have
spigot
spigots
not a
up there?
Canadian?
Yeah, we don't. I don't think you're allowed to say that word.
Spigot?
What? It sounds
Spigot.
weird when you say it. I don't like.
Does
that.
it?
I don't
It's
know if you're allowed to say it like.
G.
I don't know if
It's
you're allowed to
it
say
is
it
a
like
G.
that.
Spigot.
SPIGOT, right?
SBI, either GOT or double GOT.
I don't think you
Yeah,
can even say
double
I haven't read it
GGOT.
since,
You can't
like,
say
Little House on the-
GGOT, by the way.
I
You can't say
I-
GGOT. You're being
I
a real
don't think you
GGOT
can.
right now.
I don't think I've read that since like Little House on the Prairie, right?
Oh, it's 1G. Damn, shouldn't have double
It's
second
1G?
guessed myself. It's
Holy
1G.
shit! I've never, ever, ever in my entire life found a word Taylor can't spell till just now.
He just did. No, he had it right from the beginning. I was the
He
one who
had
thought it might have two Gs.
GGOT. Oh,
I
we need
said
to replay
1G.
the tape.
I said
think Taylor-
1G. I did get that one until I thought Kyle was right with the 2Gs, but that was
I was asking.
but I was
like,
thinking of
couldn't remember.
Spriggans.
I
from
think of
Skyrim.
myself as a very good speller, and I actually wasn't sure about Spigot how to spell it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read it since.
some
like,
people
if,
say-
just if it makes you feel good, Woody, like I fucked up on Spigot.
Yeah.
So
People often
Oh,
say spigot, so
everyone
it
else
doesn't sound like a
spells
G
me.
sound.
Yeah,
No, a spigot
I
is
just-
something else.
ask Taylor for help.
It depends what's broken. If it's something with a car, he really enjoys working on cars, and he's really knowledgeable as long as it's not fuel injected, because he doesn't have all the diagnostic equipment to diagnose computers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But as long as it's fuel injection, he built and raced
Carburation.
race cars for years, carbureted. He built and raced race cars for years, so he's really good with engines, transmissions, and the whole drivetrain stuff. And then he owned a paint and body shop for many years as well. So anything paint and body, he's really good at too. And he taught himself upholstery, so he likes doing car stuff.
Mhm.
I don't
But that
think
around the house shit, that's not titillating him. That's
it's
more-
not titillating, but he's proficient in all of it except for HVAC. We always called an HVAC guy.
HVAC is
That's like-
really tough.
That's like the mob. You got to go through them.
You need to call Anthony Cumia. He'll help
I'm
you
glad
out.
you said that. Dude, one, it's hard to buy HVAC parts. If you buy a car, there are libraries dedicated to how to work on that car. Even if it's a new fuel injected tricky one, there's a Haynes manual out there that explains it to you and tells you how to use your multimeter to, do your best and such. HVAC, it's simple, like in theory, but there's no information on how to fix things on your own.
Yeah.
It is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, they're like the mob, and they really try to upcharge you on everything, like
Mhm.
tons of inflation on the parts. I remember he got the HVAC, fixed once, and then he found like a list of the parts and saw how much they'd upcharged him, and he called and complained. He's like, I'm not gonna pay this. I'm not gonna pay this. I'm absolutely not. You can come pick the parts up, take them back out of my fucking like heater HVAC system, because like you're charging me 350% what this part costs and 280% what this part costs, and I was already paying you $35 an hour.
Mhm.
Like, no, come get your shit. And they just cut the bill from like $1,200 to $300 or something.
Yeah, good
It's
for him.
crazy.
I feel like I've had that experience without the negotiating skill. I paid $5,700 for a new. It's called a gas pack. It does your heat and AC in
Yeah.
one unit, and $5,700. This is a long time ago too, like back in the Apex house, and it was just so much, and it was not even like a major brand like Train or something, and they made us feel like we were lucky. I think they genuinely did prioritize us because we only had one as opposed to like one for each floor. And we had like a kid, one of the kids was a baby. So they kind of did us first, but they did us hard.
Yeah, those people are shitty.
Yes.
I've dealt with some of them who would quote 12,000 on a job, and then you get another guy and it'd be 1,500. And it's like,
That is a who's getting $12,000?
how far in my ass was he trying to break it off? God damn.
Mm.
Yeah, that's insane. So what? You guys have been homeowners much longer than I have. HVAC full of crooks, apparently. What
Mhm.
other little industries do I need to be wary of? Pretty much anyone in the
Home
trades.
inspector's going to be sketchy. You need to really look at what kind of warranty comes along with or guarantee comes along with their work. And make sure they're going
I've
to be
still got my
liable.
Yeah.
And the home inspectors, you have to check the motivations, right? So a lot of home inspectors get their work from real estate agents, right? And it's to their advantage to give that house the thumbs up. If you're an agent and I'm an inspector and I start ruining deal after deal, you find a new inspector. Now, if they do a bad job, that opens them up for other liabilities. So they have to kind of thread the needle there. But if you hire the home inspector, if you say, if the real estate agent's like, I'll get you a good one. You don't know anything about inspectors. I'll take care of it for you. You say, no, thank you. I can Google. You hire your own home inspector so that his motivation is to serve you.
See, that's what I should have, because you know how obviously when you're buying a house, you get a home inspector to come out there and do everything. And I had this person recommended to me by family, and
Okay.
they missed obvious shit. Like there were gutters that weren't connected the right way and that were going to fuck up if someone hadn't noticed afterward and fixed it. The dishwasher straight up did not close and had stagnant water sitting in it. Missed that. And
Oh, that's
apparently
it.
under what I was looking at, appliances were covered. And so they should have, according to my home warranty company, they're like, oh yeah, if they would have caught that right away, we would have replaced it. And so I've gone on a back and forth with them trying to fix my fucking Samsung dishwasher, which apparently, according to every guy who comes out here, they're like, Samsung, huh?
Yup.
They put 5 boards in it, and it is just the most complicated dishwasher of all time. You know what you should get? You should get a Whirlpool. It has a button that says wash, and then it washes. And I was like,
I have
damn, that's my one.
Kitty has a Samsung washer and dryer.
I've heard about them, and I'm not in the business or anything. They're like famous. Is it Neptune by chance? That's a model under Samsung.
It's like it's metallic gray and it's all digital. And I have to I can take that son of a bitch apart like a goddamn NASCAR pit crew. I have the tools that do it all together with the right bits on them. I go over there and I'm like, and she's out of the pits and ready to wash again in 3.5 minutes.
It must not be.
It has a filter. It's like the last thing to stop junk from like going down into like the wastewater line. And it clogs routinely on things it shouldn't clog on. Now, you wash a condom and it's going to end up down in there and that causes a problem. I guess maybe I understand that.
Right.
Sorry, I left the condom in my stuff, Kitty.
Gross.
Whoopsie daisy. I'm the one that had to clean it out. It's not gross. I'll fucking suck that bitch clean.
It's already been washed.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
It just went through the washer. It's fine.
That's the other thing. When you pull, so you have to take the door off the washer, like the big like porthole clear door that has to come off. The top of the washer comes off. The entire control panel comes off, and the entire front of the washer has to come off. All of these things have to come off so that you can get in there and you like put your hand in this hole, turn a thing a quarter turn, and then pull it out, and then it's full of junk like lint and rubber bands and like money. I found a $20 bill last time. I figured that was my tip for doing the job. and just junk. And it smells like actual shit because it's like stagnant, like gross water has been like soaking denim lint for weeks and weeks and weeks, I guess. And it's just like rotten in there. Yeah. And it does that every month, every 2 months at least. I've taken it apart so many times I can't count them.
Is this a new washer she has?
It's probably 5 years old now, but it was brand new when we got it. You know,
that's
it's
inexcusable. Every month.
You can watch you go to the YouTube video, you like type in Samsung Whirlpool, whatever it's called, like Neptune, whatever that model is. It's like how to fix clogged drain. This guy takes a Sawzall and cuts a hole right through the front of the whole fucking washing machine, so he doesn't have to do all that shit I just described again. He just you look at his and he's got this huge jagged U-shaped hole in the front of his washing machine. He's like, fixed it.
It's like playing Operation with the top. Like you get your hand in there without touching the sides.
He's made the hole so goddamn big. It's not a problem.
I found the video immediately. This video of Samsung washer won't drain, easy to do yourself fix, WA45H7000AW, 210,000 views. Do you think their SEO is monetized or is optimized? No, it's so many people having problems with this.
At least 10,000 of those views are mine because it took me a while to memorize how to do that shit.
Oh, that's funny.
It's 200,000 views how to fix a Samsung washer. This guy's biggest video is him doing that.
I can see why Kitty bought it, and the dishwasher too. Samsung appliances have the best curb appeal. They look wonderful in the showroom, and they often get prime. Like if you go to a Home Depot or something, prime locations. They're on the end cap, and the two of them are next to each other, and they're sitting on top of pedestals that maybe you put, I don't know, soap in or something. So that they're like neck high. And everything looks so wonderful. It looks like what you want in your house. But the owner experiences are notorious.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
My Samsung fridge is perfect. Works great. Apparently much easier to work a fridge than a
I mean, thing 6 months old hasn't given me a problem in its entire lifetime.
That is true. It is the-
It was cold.
it was, my washer dryer are Whirlpool, and my fridge I think is Samsung, or maybe that's even Whirlpool. I don't fucking know, but I do know that they are all brand fucking new, and that the people I bought the house from were not happy when I like demanded that those be included in the price. So they are, my washer and dryer are real fucking nice. But yeah, my dishwasher, that was a big mistake. Big mistake not to get that replaced.
I bought a brand new washer and dryer last year, and I just got a basic one. I think it was like $1,300 for the pair, something like that, like $750, $800 each, like maybe $1,400, $1,500 with taxes and everything. I fucking love them. They work so well. I got no problem with. There was like $2,200 sets, and I was like, how much cleaner are those people's clothes that got they paid an extra $1,000 for their washer and dryer?
These old fuckers that I bought this house from apparently fell for that and got the real expensive washer dryer. I remember it was before I bought this house. We had that discussion where you were like, you could take a shit into a washer, it's gonna be fine. And I was like, that's not true. And then looking at this one, I could take the foulest Duke in there on my clothes, and it's coming out squeaky clean. And so, that's true.
What a measure.
Yeah.
I can see you work in marketing, and I look forward to your advertising campaign.
Soupy dump all over my own clothes. Just to prove a point. Billy Mays here, taking a steamy dump on my own clothes. I'm going to show you how OxyClean gets it out of That was not OxyClean, by the way. That was cocaine. Yeah, dude. R.I.P. Billy Mays. He had the funny commercials. Yeah, poor guy, and he was so coked out of his mind during all of those. That's how he got so excited for cleaning products.
Yeah.
We got kablam here. Look at this. Fucking a hooker I killed last night. Blood all over the carpet. Fucking spray it. Dabs right up. I don't think he killed the hooker.
Contractor too.
Oh.
So we had the smallest job, right? The railing on our front porch is rotted. The toilet wobbled, and the coffee maker, we got a nice coffee maker that needs plumbing, so we don't have to like fill the water all the time, and something else, maybe the hardware in a bathtub, right? Let's go over this again. Coffee maker, bathtub hardware, wobbly toilet, and a front porch, some rotted wood he's going to replace. So we hire him back in January. He works like a day, and it's going great. Toilet's fucking solid as a rock. And he's sending pictures of the stuff you can't see so that you can admire the craftsmanship that is under the toilet, in the marble floor or whatever kind of floor. I don't know, rock thing floor. So, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. The next day he says, Woody, I can't come in. My wife has been badly hurt. We're not sure if she's going to walk again. And I'm whoa, well, take the time you need. My gosh. Like, this is a big deal. And he's like, yeah, I have to watch her. I had to take care of her, et cetera, et cetera. So he misses like a couple weeks after because of that. Dude, she was walking after 2 days, right? My sprained ankle was fucking worse than this woman's thing. And there's questions about whether she's going to walk again. But no, she's fine. But he misses weeks of work for that. Then he comes back. Works like a day or maybe didn't come in. Says, Woody, I think I got COVID, right? He gets tested for COVID. Doesn't have COVID. Misses 3 fucking weeks of work for not COVID. Right? So then
not COVID. Gotta go.
Yeah. So then he's going to come back. He's like, Woody, I'm coming Monday. I swear I'm coming Monday. Woody, I'm on my way. Woody, I had a heart attack. I had a fucking heart attack. Oh my God. You take the time you need. A heart attack. Goodness gracious. I'm not a monster. Okay. It was indigestion. Misses 3 fucking weeks for indigestion. 3 more weeks for not a heart attack. 3 weeks.
Every time Woody calls him, hello, hypochondriac contracting. How can I help you? Oh, hang on. I can't continue this phone call.
And
I'm dying. I'm dying.
He's sending me pictures like trying to connect with me, Oh, things are tough here. Things are tough. Watch, these are my support schnauzers. Right? He sends me pictures of his dogs and shit like that.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
He's got support schnauzers? Are you fucking with me? Is this a joke?
I can show you.
Show me. You're going to have to show me that this man has support schnauzers, or I'm going to call you a liar.
This guy's
this is not a problem.
Dude,
I mean,
y'all are so nice to these contractors. Like I get that not cursing at them is like
Yeah.
the right way to do things. But at some point, not whipping their ass is just letting them slide. Like, the man has support
sending you
schnauzers. Oh my
pictures of his
fucking god, I
dog?
see him.
An
Oh,
asshole.
good God.
Yeah, Kyle,
I-
I'm totally on board with that. Like, I try to be. I've worked customer service jobs. I always.
Oh,
how
I know
many
too.
times
Yeah.
I try to be polite. I try to be courteous. Yeah, apparently, that is not the strategy with contractors.
dude.
Because if you are nice, they will walk all over you.
Yes.
They
I'm
will
very
set
litigious.
schedule.
Me too. Oh, that's how I turned it around. At one point in TSA, I'm like, dude, at this point, we're getting attorneys involved. You know, I don't know
No
what
one
to
wants
do
to
at
hear
this
that
point.
word.
Yeah. And he's like, Woody, don't do that. Give me a chance to prove you wrong. And I'm like, you have had so many chances. You literally send me texts saying you're on the way and then don't come. He's like, no. There was one point where he's like, the painters are scheduled for Friday. I said, seriously, it's like Wednesday at this point. You're going to get all your work done. Who are the painters? And he won't tell me. I'm like, who are the painters? He tells me something else about all the work he's going to get done and the troubles that he has in his life. And I'm like, who are the painters? I want to call the painters and see if they know that they're scheduled to come Friday. That might have been when I got the dog pictures. I don't know. But it was...
There's Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There's support schnauzers.
So then he's
they
like,
do
it's
paw prints.
He's like, it's the same guys that pressure washed. It's like Salarno or something. And I'm like, well, fuck, he answered in such a way that I can't call. And anyway, he cancels work the next 2 days. I'm like, I guess
names.
I guess you
want
canceled the
numbers.
painters. Yeah. He's like, I guess you canceled the painters. He's like, yep, I got that all taken care of. We canceled the painters. So then he ends up doing the painting himself. Says, man, the prices these painters want is outrageous. And it's like, you never scheduled the painters. You found out the price and decided to paint yourself. You know you're lying to me. You're always lying to me. You lie so fucking much. I'm
You
like,
need to do this. This is what you need to do. This is
that's what
you
I
say.
did. At one point,
Look,
I'm out there
so
talking to him,
litigious.
and I'm like,
No.
dude, the gap between what you say you're gonna do and what you actually do is so wide. I can't make that mental leap that when you tell me you're gonna do this, that I don't get it. I've never met anyone less reliable than you. This is like actual words I've said to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, Woody, give me a chance to prove you wrong. And eventually, he finished the job. It was probably 2 weeks worth of work. He did it from
That's
January
why we're hearing about this, by the way.
until
In
May.
case somebody's wondering, this has been ongoing for weeks, and Woody didn't want to talk about it until it was
months.
done. Like for anyone who's listening to this, like here's my 2 cents on how you handle these awful scenarios.
Just real quick. Towards the end, his wife was dying. She's got
she's
lupus.
dead.
She's
How
got
you better
lupus.
be- I would say, you know what? You better hope she dies,
Dude.
Because if she's not dead tomorrow, I'm coming for her.
Dude, his
every
dying.
single morning that he doesn't show up, you should send him a photo of the obituary page. Hey, I didn't see her here. You weren't at work yesterday.
Dude, sorry I cut you off, Kyle, but by the end with the dying wife stuff, I had no heart. I'm like, you're making
None.
your problems my problems. I don't want to hear
Sounds like a
this.
you problem. You know
Yeah.
what problem I got? My coffee maker. Is your coffee maker alive?
He wasn't
'Cause
credible
mine's not.
anymore. And by the way, I don't think lupus kills you.
I don't care if it does. I hope it does.
I don't
I
want
hope she's
it
got
to.
it bad. No, you threaten these people with fucking litigation because nobody wants that. Nobody wants to show up in court. Nobody wants that. Everyone fears that so much. Believe me, I've been there. Nobody wants to go to court and have a judge deciding what they're going to have to pay out of pocket or potentially go to jail or something like that. Obviously, this is a civil contractor dispute. Nobody's going to jail, but you get what I'm saying. You threaten these people right away with litigation. If they have done you wrong, you don't owe these people anything. You've got to threaten them right away because people who are already in that business and they have this level of shittiness, it's not a new thing to them. This is just how they operate, and they're going to keep doing it to you. And you're not the only one that they are putting off. The reason they can't come tomorrow is because tomorrow they're going to a guy's house where they're 5 weeks late.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why I know?
I would love to because I bet it's hilarious.
Doing meth?
He he parked his trailer with tools in my driveway all winter long from January to
You think
May.
it's his trailer? He stole that trailer from a real contractor. In reality, he has stolen the identity of an actual contractor. And he's like living in his house like that scene in Unbreakable. The guy's tied to a radiator, and every night he's just drinking beer and spitting it on him. And like, this man is an insane asylum kind of character.
He had his trailer. And that was the thing. So we have our driveway is it's weird. You can enter the house from the north side and the eastern side. Yeah. And the eastern driveway, the better one, was just like occupied all winter long.
Just you've got a better driveway and you can't afford $100 for a DNA test.
The man has an eastern driveway, but he can't afford his DNA test. Fucking Wayne Manor over here. I don't know where I'm from.
Don't use
France,
the
Germany, who knows?
Afternoon. It's too hot. It's too hot. I drive into the western driveway afternoon. I want to keep my tires nice.
Don't they know that in the summer I like to use the eastern driveway to avoid the glare?
We just got it repaved. It has like brand new dark asphalt. It's so smooth. I'm on the gravel driveway.
And I have to drive on gravel in my brand new pickup truck? I'm trying to get out to off-road on one of my many hobbies.
But yeah.
With my friend the Wizard.
And he did great work. It just took him 12 times longer than it should have.
No, I like
my dumb ass wants to rehire him for like a one-day job.
My dad would always threaten people. He would literally threaten people with physical violence. And that sounds like a terrible idea, but like it would usually work. Yeah. There was a guy who was stealing tools from him once, a contractor. Like he's the contractor and he's stealing my dad's tools. And my dad like goes to the guy's house and the guy's daughter is there. And it's like, she's like a little girl. She's like 9. And she's like, hey, is your dad around? He's like, no. He's like, have you seen my tools? And she's like, my daddy took your tools.
Oh my God.
And he goes and he beats the shit out of this guy. And he's like, I'm going to come back. And if you've hurt that little girl, I'm going to come back every day. And you're getting more of this. Just like beat the shit out of this guy who had stolen his tools. And he's like, and I want to know where my tools are. He's like, I've sold the tools. I'm so sorry. I sold the tools. Who'd you sell them to? So then he's like having to like go around and track down. It wasn't his tools. It was like race car parts. It was like this real fancy, like multi-barrel carburetor from a drag race car. It was all this stuff this fucking scumbag had stolen.
God.
People are scummy. It's hard to find good contractors. And it seems like the contractor business is somewhat populated by scummy people. It seems like it's, I don't know for what reason, but it's hard to find good people to come into your home and do drywall, carpeting, heating and air, duct work, like plumbing, you name it. It's hard.
I think they can take their breaking and entering skills and then go to prison and come out and that turns into like a little bit of actual repair work and handyman work that they can employ.
We did have those classes in prison. Like you did. HVAC was a big one in prison.
Oh, I thought you had breaking and entering classes in prison.
Oh, no.
We taught those.
If anyone needs the breaking and entering classes, it's some of the guys in prison because they got caught doing it.
Okay.
So I have a good contractor. He built an amazing fence out front, and I'm like very little tiny like tile misalignments drive me nuts, and doors not shutting completely correct. And you have to shove them closed. I'm like, it tweaks me out. And this fence he built is like, I'll go out at night and just rub the fence where the joints are because they're so fucking perfect, like laser aligned. I'm like, oh, I need this guy to redo my deck. I need this precision on my deck. So I get a bunch of quotes and he comes in way under everybody else. And I'm like, actually thinking to myself, like, I don't care if you were the most expensive. I just need this kind of quality in the deck. But I'm also thinking he didn't give me the right quote. Like he didn't add in enough for whatever. And this was before lumber turned into the price of lumber turned into the global warming graph.
It's crazy right now.
Yeah.
So he comes in every week while he's redoing the deck. He's like, hey, I got to talk to you. And I have this big smile on my face because I'm like, I know what this is. I know what you want to ask me. He's like, yeah. So the lumber, I called around and it was like, it's going to be a month or it's going to be another $3,000. Like he's doing it from like further than hitting distance. He's like, I don't really know how to say it. It's going to be like another $3,000. I'm like,
he's using head movement while he tells you the price.
Yeah. He's like, how's your day been? You want to sit down? Maybe put your hands in your pocket. So it's been great. I don't even care. Every week he's like, you know what? Did you want the old deck demo too? Because that's going to be another $1,000. I don't know. I'm like, oh, you didn't put the demo of the deck in the quote? Of course not. Of course you didn't. You're fine.
No.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. I get
crazy. What? Just like, no, leave the old deck there. Just
No, build over it.
Yeah. You have phase technology, right? They can both exist at the same time.
Build inside of it.
Dude,
I don't want to take up any extra space either.
Yeah.
Our house
right?
always has something that needs to get done. If this guy was on the ball, like
he'd have a real customer in you.
Yeah, he'd work here full time. I'd have another dependent.
Dude, let me tell you about the greatest employee of our generation. And it's this guy that works for my dad right now. I think I've mentioned it before.
Jeremy.
It's shocking. The fucking jack of all trades this guy is. He does everything for my dad for a very low wage, like $10 or $15 an hour, plus like little bonuses depending on like what the job is. He does the grocery shopping. He puts the groceries away. And like, this is a little thing, right? Little thing. My dad's got like, obviously like a normal refrigerator, but then he's got like one of those like Coca-Cola refrigerators. It's like Coca-Cola themed, like in his little like
front
on it.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's got the lever and it's like looks like a big Coca-Cola thing, and it's in his like guitar room with all of his amps and guitars and like his big couch and everything where he goes and like chills and plays. Well, the guy takes all of the sodas and like takes them out of their like 6-pack like plastic thing, and like they're individually in there. Like, I don't know, that's just a little thing. The guy mops the floors, and I mean hands and knees scrubbing like Cinderella. Okay, like sweat dripping off of him. Like he has to work backwards to clean his own sweat. He's sweating so profusely. He makes the beds. He cleans the toilets. He puts
these things
every week. Every like there's a chore list, and it happens every week. Like each of these, the floors all get scrubbed every week. The beds get made up every day. The dad's like, I can never find a salt shaker because he puts them away. Like everything is put away in its place. Like you can't even have salt and pepper like out on a countertop because everything is in its spot, in its slot. Like all this, like
I don't
the
know if I
spoons,
like
the
that.
ladles, the spatulas.
I'd be like,
everything's
listen,
hung
Skippy,
so.
one of the salt shaker spots is right here on the counter.
Right on the counter because I need salt all the time. Like, what if I decide to eat a tomato and I want some salt? No, it's put up, it's put away. Like I went over there a few weeks ago and I was like cooking my dad and I dinner, and I was like, where is everything? He's like, it's all got a spot. You'll figure it out. It's everything's put away. The guy cuts the grass. He cleans the gutters. He cleans the pool. He keeps the pH in the pool just perfect in the saltwater pool. Like he trims the roses. He fertilizes the garden. He picks the fruit in the garden and trims away like the bad fruit so that the tomatoes will grow extra big. He works on the farm also, like early in the morning, and gets all that out of the way. He tends to the computer systems that moderate everything at the farm. Like he works at least 12 hours a day for my dad, and I don't think my dad's paying him more than $400 a week.
Oh, I was just about to say I knew the scam. Your father needs, this is need, not want, needs someone 10 hours a week. And this guy has turned it into a 70-hour-a-week job by doing more.
Dad loves it.
He's like, I'm not saying he's definitely not dishonest. He's just turned it into a bigger job than it could have been.
He did one little dishonest thing one time, and Dad caught him. He stole a little bit, like $20 or something like that. But Dad was like, we call that spillage. That's what you call spillage. All right. You know, like, oh, he took $20 out of an ashtray. Well, I've never seen anybody scrub a floor like this man before in my entire life. I've had 4 wives, and I've never seen one of them mop a floor like this fucker. And I'd pay him $1,000 if for a woman to scrub a floor like that. Never seen it in my life. I'm telling you, my dad. It seemed kind of. My dad didn't mean it this way. He was just trying to illustrate to me like how hardworking this guy is. But my dad sent me a picture of him scrubbing the floor, and he's just on his hands and knees, and like he looked like a slave. He's a white guy. He looked like a slave though. He looked like an indentured servant scrubbing this floor, and she's so red and sweaty, and he's got his shirt off, and he's just like he's looking up like he's clearly like out of breath. He looks up. He's like. And my dad's like, ka-chink. I just want to show Kyle how hard you work. And I'm just like, God damn, he's working hard. It's just
He's trying to earn back trust after that $20 bill incident.
Yeah, there is nothing that you can imagine like needing to do around a household and a farm that this man doesn't do at this point. My dad's
Can he handle termites? Can he redo foundations? Can he do stuff like that?
I mean, you pay for not a plane ticket, no, a bus ticket, and this man will be at your house not tonight, but tomorrow, and he'll do his damnedest to fix that foundation. He'll be crawling through your ducts like James Bond looking for fucking termites. He'll be biting them. He won't even need poison.
Doesn't know how to fix a foundation or kill termites. He's just hitting them, pushing dirt back in place.
He's gonna grind the termites up, make a paste, and repair the foundation.
I like this guy.
Man, now we're making money.
He's clearly like gay, like effeminate, like dude. I met him the other day. And Dad was like, he's been wanting to meet you for a while. He's like every now and then when you send me a picture of you, I show it to him, and he's like, oh, I want to meet him. And so like I met him, I shook his hand. He's like, it's real nice to meet you, Kyle. It's real nice. I just been looking forward to meeting you for a long time.
Well, it needs to be asked. Does this guy keep in shape?
I mean, scrubbing those floors keeps the man taut. All right, I'll say that about him. So,
no idea.
So another little thing happened. Moving on. Was it PKN or PKA? Yeah. So last week on the show, we discussed Woody's terrible contractor and how he faked multiple life-threatening illnesses for himself and his wife. So he just kept delaying all these projects on Woody, and it was a real hassle. And at one point, Woody was like, he even showed me pictures of his dogs to like get pity, and I was like, no way, let me see the dogs. And I legitimately just wanted to see the dogs. I thought he'd text me the dogs or something, and Woody was like, yeah, look at the dogs, and showed me text messages of the dogs, and completely accidentally he, I guess, flashed the guy's phone number because it's at the top of the thing, and we didn't realize until it was too late. Someone messaged me days and days and days later, and it was far too late by then. Well, I guess some people called him and tried to hire his services and have been giving him a hard time. So he's calling Woody, and he's like, you've sicked these degenerates on me. This bullshit show you do. There's over 180,000 views already on it, and these people are calling me, and they're doing this and that.
What are your response when he said there's 180,000 views on the YouTube? I wanted your response to be well, actually, that doesn't account for all the other services that it's.
YouTube is but a fraction of our.
That's not y'all. Don't get the.
Well, the audio listeners aren't calling him. I didn't say it.
Not yet. Not yet. They aren't. The things you miss out on when you never watch the video.
Yeah, you can't get.
I didn't mean to leak his number. It sucks. But he did act like it was yet another one of the worst things that ever happened to him. It just there. So he took about 5 months to do maybe 10 days worth of work. And when he did work, I swear this guy works from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I hate this guy so much.
How is this even worth your commute? But he would routinely work 10 to 2. And that's part of why it takes so long.
He even said, he was like, how would you like it if I started a podcast and I showed your number on there? And it's turns out he's starting a podcast. It was gonna start this week, but he has AIDS, so it's been delayed. It's been delayed 2 to 3 weeks before he begins his podcast.
What if he starts a podcast? He's a fucking natural, explodes past us, and then fuck! Damn it, we're getting blown out by the Contractor Weekly talk hour.
5 months to
Welcome to the Lazy Frank Show. I'm Lazy Frank.
I'm Lazy Frank. Welcome to the 1 Minute Podcast.
Here's my wife, Terry Schiavo. Beep, beep. Beep. She's on the monitors.
We're pretty happy with the work he did. It just, instead of 10 days, it took 5 months to do it. And
so if somebody needs some work done
in 2022,
if somebody needs some work done, this will be done by the middle of this decade.
I didn't like that he stored his trailer in our driveway for 5 months.
You shouldn't. Just because you have 2 driveways doesn't mean you don't deserve to use both of them.
Do you have a wobbly toilet that you need fixed in 3 to 6 months? Do you have a little extra room in your front yard for a large trailer? Well, there's only one man to call for the job.
A lot of people thought
This
that
guy
maybe
is
he
idiot.
was working on someone else's project, but I had all his tools in my front yard the whole winter. Like he wasn't working anywhere else.
Those tools are
guy-
broken.
doing?
I mean, you think he's laundering money in some other way? You think he's a criminal? But this is his moonlighting gig. To
I
give
don't want to accuse him of any crimes.
He kept asking me for more money, so no, I don't think so.
He sounds like an alcoholic.
I don't think so.
what if that? Hey, we got an expert.
And we do have a subject matter expert here. Not
He's
that I
often
know.
late.
Often late.
Often
He-
late.
He makes
Also-
promises that he never fulfills.
Right.
He likes to use
Long
his nail gun
distance.
drunk. Look how far it could go.
I looked in his trailer there's nothing in there but 3 kegs of beer and a vomit stinking mattress.
All his
found
tools
out-
were really nice. He has everything's matching DeWalt. He's a DeWalt guy, and all of his tools matched. It was all like high end stuff. He made an outstanding first impression.
Yeah, I
wasn't
like DeWalt
until
as
he-
well.
Missed just like at first it'd be like, hey bro, when should I expect you? That was the phrasing I always used. When should I expect you? It's a nice way of saying like, you coming to work today, dude?
Yeah.
And there'd be some excuse. It got to be I just didn't expect him anymore. Like, of course he's not coming to work. Why would he? And he got demo done immediately. You know what else I hated? Just remembering this, and it made me so mad. We hired him for like a smaller project, right? Like just the toilet and coffee maker or whatever it was. And he's like, actually, I'm a really good carpenter. And like, check out how loose this is. And there's a wobbly hand railing. It goes like, it's a front porch. It has maybe 4 steps. And the railing is wobbly. And he rips it down and says, look how weak that was. And I'm like,
Look how easy this hammer dents your car.
yeah. And
You need protection.
now I have to face
It's like
it.
one of those guys that comes in your house to sell you like a steam cleaner and pours like crude oil on your white carpets first.
Now you
Yeah.
want to believe.
No,
this.
he
He's
literally did that. He ripped down the railing, and then there was like a globe. Picture like a 1 foot diameter sort of decorative wooden ball at the top
Yeah.
of a newel post. And he ripped that off too. And he's like, look, this comes right off. And it's like, you're doing demo, like pre-estimate. I don't have a quote to fix this yet.
I would literally call the police.
Like, it's the shadiest fucking tactic ever.
I would literally call the police. You just tell them the truth. I called this man and asked him to fix my toilet and my coffee maker. He walked outside and started tearing my porch apart and pointed out how weak it was. I want to file charges for destruction of property. And then he'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what happened, but I thought he'd hire me. Fraud as well, it seems, sir. Yes. let's get that right down.
You know what you need to do? Woody, you need to go to his house and test like how can you hang on his kitchen cabinets? I don't know. Maybe you need to test it. Look at this. I can just tear your whole kitchen apart without. I mean, look at this. This coffee maker goes right into your TV.
Yeah.
You didn't do any of this. Wow, everything just lights on fire. Look, just tossing a match. Look at how flammable your throw pillows are.
we have a big house.
I'm showing you all the fucking danger.
There's so many things that like need to be done. Like you close a door and you can like see like a little bits of light, on the other, like, oh, the weather ceiling's not quite right. And we just got like a zillion of our gutters are like there's an area in the front where the gutter doesn't point down, so it kind of drips over the side, and that causes further. Anyway, it's like we got a million little things that was his audition to be like my fucking next dependent. I'm gonna have another guy just around here sucking money out of me all the time. I was going to add one to the list, and he missed his chance. We got to find someone else.
Piece of shit, this guy.
Literally,
real jerk.
it's like calling the fucking fire department because your house is on fire, and they just like show up with a flamethrower. And you're like,
Yeah. They're like, look, all this shit catches on fire.
Our fire's even hotter. We're gonna intimidate the other fire into retreat.
That is the
We're
shadiest. I hired a paint. Well, I didn't actually hire him, but I hired a painter to give me a quote. I guess I had a painter, and this is the Apex house. On the siding, there was it kind of bubbled under the paint a little bit, like water got behind it and it bubbled a bit. So he took a screwdriver and pried it off to show me that it was weak. And it's like, well, fuck. You know, we went from like bubbling under the paint to like exposed raw unpainted siding.
Yeah.
Like, is this part of your sales technique? Where you take my 4 out of 10 problems and make them 9 out of 10 problems, and now like it's an emergency?
You call the police. I swear to God, you call the police.
I'm remembering.
I would not deal with that.
This is so funny. I'm remembering this, but like, there was this contractor. I think his name was like Matt or something, but it was when I was maybe in middle school. I was like 12, 13, and my parents hired this guy to do something in our kitchen. And like all contractors, he took forever to do nothing. And he was an asshole. He was the worst kind of asshole. He was like over the top religious, like always inviting us to things, talking about how important it was to go to church. And then it would be like, oh, but I guess keeping your word is like one of the chapters, one of the many. You know how often the Bible they say like don't lie, don't cheat people. I guess you skipped all those, Matt. And there was one time I had a buddy of mine, Sean, over, and we were hanging out in the basement. And then he's like, let's go outside and play basketball. He was very, very good. This kid was unbelievably good at basketball. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go shoot hoops with you. You're just going to humiliate me because I sucked. And we went out there and we started playing, and then we come back in, grab some water, and this guy is pretending to work in the kitchen. And he goes, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're just playing basketball. And he's like, I played in high school a little bit. We're not going to ask you a follow-up. We're 13. We don't give a fuck, you weirdo. I'm going to come out and shoot some hoops with you. Really? If my parents were home, they probably wouldn't like that, but okay, you're an adult and I'm 13, so I can't really stop you. He comes out there, and very quickly, the game of horse becomes me totally not involved, and he is hardcore 1v1ing my friend aggressively, like moving picks. At one point, like my friend was beating him handily, and this like 38-year-old.
Okay.
He was a big 13-year-old, and he was genuine. He was. I can't oversell how good he was. Like, he was playing for teams like that traveled with kids 3 years older than him, like unbelievably good. And so this asshole comes out there and thinks he's going to impress us, and he's just getting crossed over, looking like a fool. And my buddy was like going back to like take a long shot, and he gets body checked by this almost 40-year-old contractor. And I remember, I can still see it. My buddy's just like falling back onto the asphalt and just looking up like, I don't know. This is a new scenario I'm in right now. An adult I don't know just body checked me in what's supposed to be a friendly game of basketball. And I remember both of us were just like, yeah, we're going to go play Pokemon Snap, I guess, like, or whatever the hell it was. Like, yeah, that guy fucking sucked. I think they ended up firing him because he just, he was so on his hands and knees for God that he couldn't, get the countertop.
Turns out, same contractor as Woody's, also a time traveler.
Also
That's why he's always late. He's a time traveler.
Yeah, he's trying to beat up.
He's off going back to like beat up Taylor's friends.
I meant installing that hoop wasn't even part of the quote, but there it is.
Wait, you installed a hoop at a house in Missouri in 2001?
No, I would say he gave me one. But anyway, overtop religion is one of my biggest frustrations. I feel like it's sometimes used as a shield or a technique to be an asshole, right?
Right.
If you
Won't tolerate that.
If you mention like how much you love God in your voicemail message before I leave mine, if that makes like in your greeting, then like you're just using it as a manipulation tactic, you dick.
Right.
A lot of people do that. I give people the benefit of the doubt. Some people are that religious, and they think by putting like in Christ at the end of their email that it's somehow helpful. But yeah, lots of people. And I like the way you said when they lead with it, it's absolutely a manipulation tactic. I worked with someone, never directly, and this was probably 6 years ago at this point, but he was a guy in advertising that I knew, and never directly, but tangentially worked with. And he would lie, just the most shameless, over the top lies. Like, he was working with a client who was super religious. Like, they were, they own a product, they manufacture it, they sell it in retail, and they're over the top religious. And this guy doesn't give a fuck about religion. He's like one of those like, big brain Richard Dawkins atheist. Like, but have you considered it's not real? It's like, shut up, bitch. Like, yeah, we've all considered it. And it's just it's the fucking worst dealing with people who abuse religion like that. And I can think of so many teachers, because I went to private like religious school, where I've said this before. My fucking my study hall instructor, study hall teacher. Like you need to be looked over. I remember once I came in late while she was leading like morning prayer. And then like I came in and sat down and she's like eyes closed doing her like, and it says that in the Bible, when you pray, do it in private. Don't do it out in public like the Pharisees and Sadducees do. It's supposed to be something between you and God. So fuck you, Miss Bitch. And then I came in and I sat down and her eyes were closed and she opened them and she's like, Taylor, the Holy Spirit told me you came in late. And it's like, are you sure you didn't open your eyes and see me? Like, are you sure that's not what told you? And I learned how to flip it on her. Ooh. Because basically she would take a 50-minute study hall, and this was first hour. And so often, like as a senior year, I would put it off all my homework until the morning of, and then just sprint through it. And there was one time and she would take 20 minutes of the 50-minute period just giving out Bible verses. And if you tried to do homework while she was doing it, she would be like, now the Holy Spirit's telling me that you need to be paying attention. And I remember once I got in and I was doing this math assignment that I had blown off and it was taking way longer. And so I'm just nose to the grindstone right away, doing my fucking trig or whatever it was. And she was like, Taylor, do you think it's appropriate to be doing work while we're discussing the Lord? And I was like, Miss Denon, I know in the Bible how much it says that when you do things, you're supposed to do them to the glory of God, to the best of your ability. And if I don't spend this entire period doing that, then I'm not really glorifying God in my work, am I? And it was like a Magic the Gathering combo where it's like, we're both pretending and I won. Ha ha. She was like, if you think that's what the Lord's telling you to do. And I was like, Ms. Denon, I
Definitely.
do. I do.
Definitely. I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Stupid bitch. You sucked and you were weird. She didn't do anything but waste people's times in study hall. That's all. That was her only job. It wasn't even like the football coach who was bad at math and did math teaching also.
Right.
She didn't do anything. Just a study hall lady. I don't know what she was there for. No idea.
I feel like it's a mix between like people being like manipulative with religion or just being like so brainwashed that that's like the only thing they can hold on to. Like morally, they're like, I have to have something because I can't actually make my own choices.
Yeah, I don't deal with people with imaginary friends.
Right. You have to. Most people are religious.
Most people pretend they are. Most people pretend they are, like to the extent where it's like, I don't know, you put your seatbelt on. Do you really believe you're going to get in an accident today? No. If I asked you, hey, are you going to get in an accident today? Do you believe that? Nah, but you're still going to wear a seatbelt, aren't you? Yeah, that's how most people are religious.
Think so.
That's a really good analogy.
Do you believe in God? Nah. You're still going to pray to him occasionally, though, just in case, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Dying.
Oh, yeah. Prayer is my seatbelt.
Being religious sounds better. Like, I wish that, like, I woke up every morning and was like, when this shit show of a life is over, I get to go and be in heaven eternally. Like, and that would be a great thing to just wholly believe. Like, you would be so much happier. You have something to look forward to at the end of life. But, like, belief isn't a choice. So you could even say you believe it like Kyle, but like if God's real, he's gonna know. He's like, no, fuck, you were bullshitting. You didn't ever really believe it. You were hedging.
I also there's a recklessness behind religion in my opinion, because like some people are like, fuck it, like I'm gonna go do this that's dangerous because if it's my time to go, God's gonna take me. It's like, well, yeah, but like, or you can prevent that. Don't go do something dumb.
My frustration is the like whitewashing they get from it, right? Like they can be a dick, they can be an unethical businessman, but so long as they throw God into all of this stuff, yeah, either it justifies their actions or they just whitewash their bad actions by talking about God all the time. Well, they're good guys because they've included that. That's
for sure. That absolutely happens.
Frustrates me.
People take advantage of it, and the contractor thing. If there is a job where they abuse the religious thing, it's got to, even more than priests, it's got to be contractors. Playing on your most vulnerable moments. If a priest tries to manipulate me, it's like, I'm not coming back to your fucking cult. But if a contractor does, it's like, but you're the guy, but my sink doesn't work. I need you here to do this.
To be clear, Will didn't do that. It was just one medical calamity after another. And I'm not pretty sure they were overblown. I'm positive. Look, a negative COVID test doesn't cause you to miss 3 weeks of work. What the fuck? No. Who the hell misses 3 weeks for not having COVID? or indigestion. He thought he had a heart attack. He didn't. 3 weeks he missed work.
Even with COVID, I would be like, I want to get back as quick as possible.
Even with a heart attack, you don't miss 3 weeks.
Yeah, even with a heart attack, it's like I had a heart attack. I'll be on Monday. This is like it would take a long weekend and heart recover. And be like, okay, that's absurd.
Yeah, and then of course he ran out of money, and suddenly it's like I need an advance, and it's fucking.
Well, maybe the Lord will strike him down.
That's why he wasn't a contact in my phone. I had this weird thing in my head where I was like, if I decide to rehire this guy, I'll enter him in my phone as a contact. If I don't, he's just going to be like a random number. And I don't know, that was it. It was like, the day that he like impresses me enough that I might rehire him, I'll put him in my phone. And he just never made it in there.
Yeah.
He is now, because you have to enter him to block him.
Yeah, you actually have to enter him as a contact.
Yeah, I had to enter him as a contact so I could block
another
that
advantage
contact.
Android has over
Does
those
it? You
iPhones.
can block numbers that aren't in your contacts?
Yeah, it'll even ask, "Hey, was this spam?" And you'd be like, "Yeah." You want to report and block? Mm-hmm.
I've been getting an excessive amount of spam phone calls specifically, and spam texts. So I don't know what the hell I entered my number it to, but like I get them twice a day now.
Yeah, it's probably for like your car's extended warranty or student loans
or life insurance.
They try to get me to click on things. Like they often tell me like my Netflix accounts needs to be confirmed or something like that.
Right.
And I don't know if I've fallen for, but I've like almost fallen for it here and there. And I'm like
a few days ago, like I haven't even been able to work out this week because of this fucking weather. I had a pretty severe pipe burst in my basement and flooded my whole basement. Bunch of fucking disaster. It's gonna be a good bit of time to fix and everything. The last couple days, people have been tearing stuff out and carrying it. Everybody was removing a bunch of drywall. They removed an entire ceiling from a room like down there, and like they plugged in like 12 industrial strength dehumidifiers. And like, even in my head, I am not an electrician. Like I walked down there and saw, and I'm like, this is dangerous. Like there should not be like 9 of these to an outlet. And like, maybe with like, as I'm thinking that, it bursts a circuit and shuts down. They've just left. And so then I have to go, and I don't know anything about that. And I'm fucking around with the breakers and like trying to run cords and stuff down there. I have to leave those right. It sounds like an airplane's taking off underneath me right now. It is so goddamn.
They're running right now.
They're running right now. They have to run
2 days.
It's been 2 days. A guy came out and checked today and was like, the moisture meter is way too high. We got to keep them running. And so it'll be like 72 hours at the time tomorrow they come to check. It is so fucking loud in my house. It is 12 of these. And the way it is, my stairs just go down into the couple basement rooms I have. And I can't close those doors. I have to leave them open for some air circulation thing.
Can I interrupt you? Did we set this up, or am I crazy? Do people know that a pipe burst in your basement 2 days ago? Did we say that out loud?
I said that to begin. Yeah. That it burst. Basically, the guy just showed me a picture of the pipe and was like, here's the problem. And it was like a pipe totally shorn in two, just pouring stuff. And so I think it had only been going for a couple hours when I caught it. Thank God. But a couple hours is horrible because it's enough time to ruin everything. But
it's a couple thousand gallons at that point. Like
oh yeah,
I've dealt with this so many times. Like my dad's farm, like
it's been stressing me out, dude. I'm sorry.
My dad's farm and those poultry houses, there's like, I don't want to exaggerate. So let me quickly do the math in my head. It's 5, 10, 15, 20 times 6, 500, 2,000, 6 times 2,000 is 12,000.
Everyone's being very respectful.
It's 2.5 miles of PVC. Okay. There's 2.5 miles of indoor PVC.
Okay.
And a lot of it is CPVC. And I'm not going to get into the details of the difference, but it gets brittle over time. And so like that shit will just like snap and break. And there's always like strangers in there working who are like rough with your equipment that are higher. I won't go into it, but there's people in there fucking working who don't give a fuck if they break something. And you never know if they've cracked a thing and it's just almost about to fall apart. And then like 3 weeks later, pop. And so many floods I've seen in indoors.
This is the first
10,000 gallons.
And it sucks that it was in my fucking house, but like it, like just by happenstance at like 2 p.m. I happened to be like, oh, I'm gonna check downstairs if I have something. And I went down there and I'm in my unfinished area. I open it and there's just water fucking all over the place. Not covered because it's a very, very large unfinished area, but it's like there's enough water in the lower leveling parts that I could go splash around like if I wanted to. And like, you know, where like you kick a really deep puddle and like you feel the amount of inertia of the water you're moving and it's spilling over the sides of your boot too. Like it's that kind of not good. And I'm like, well, this is bad news. And so I go to the finished part of my basement and I'm like, hopefully, you know, the finished part that has, you know, drywall and fucking my TV, my pool table, my sectional, all my shit, maybe that's okay. And I walk in and it's like, you ever seen the movie like The Money Trap? Where like it looked like there was water pouring out of all the light fixtures. There was a center area where like the vent was to like heat it, and like it was just one of the pouring out of that. And I just was like, sprinted, turn around, turn the water off. Run upstairs, grab a bunch of buckets, start putting it under all of these light fixtures. I call around to 5 or 6 different plumbing emergency companies. It's -4 degrees in St. Louis at the time. And so every one of them is like, yeah, we don't have any plumbers. Everybody's doing exactly what you're calling to do. Eventually I get through to someone, they come out and start getting moving. But like, it was, it's going to take so much fucking time for them to fix all this shit. Just a pain in the ass.
So at least you have insurance though. Can you imagine if this weren't insured? Because I don't know if they've given you an estimate, but I just based on what you've described, I think you've got like $15,000 to $20,000 for the damages.
I would guess at least like probably around 15.
I want a Twitch donation goal where you're willing to walk downstairs and show off the damage. You should do that for $1,000. For $1,000, I will go downstairs with my laptop and I will show everything.
Someone would like be like, using the floor plan of his house, here's his address. So,
exactly. Right.
That is a risk.
So the way I would infiltrate Taylor's home for murder is
all right. Yeah. I do see the flaws in these.
You can see here, once you get him in this pool room, there's no escape.
There's no escape. One way in, one way out. Classic flaw.
It would go towards the deductible though.
I had never seen like that level of damage so fast. Where like it felt like the time from me turning off the water, running upstairs, grabbing the buckets, and then coming back down, like pieces of the ceiling, it just started like just bowing out at the areas where they put the drywall together or the ceiling together, whatever.
So
fucking pain in the ass.
You've said that your house is very loud, and in my head, all the humidifiers are in the basement. Am I right?
Yeah. So I live in a ranch style house, so like large upper floor and then basement. There's not 2 stories, and so like
over on Wilkes Street.
Yeah, on Wilkes Street. In St. Louis. And so basically like my living room, you come into my house, it's an open like feel to it. And you go down the stairs and immediately left, you're in my finished area, right? You're in my gym, unfinished area where I have my hockey shooting stuff. Now, because it's just an open stairway down there and both those doors have to be open. And in each of those rooms, there's 6 industrial sized dehumidifiers. I can hear it right now. I can hear the thrull, the right now through the wall, through the doors, down the stairs. I was sitting with my ex-girlfriend on the couch last night trying to watch
I love
something.
that.
Yeah, we were trying to watch something and she was like, I can't handle this. It is so loud in here. And something else that it did, it's dehumidifying the whole house. So I got a nosebleed this morning.
Wow.
It's so dry in here. And it's still not doing anything. All my carpet was destroyed. There was one area of my carpet that like matched my stairs. And I was like, do you think we'll be able to save this like bottom patch so I don't have to try and match carpet? And the guy's like, I'll do my best, bro. And then the guy came out today and I asked him about it and was like, I don't know who told you this was salvageable. Probably the guy who comes on day 1 and gets your hopes up. I'm day 2 guy. I'm real deal guy.
That was high hopes Harry. He probably told you weren't going to need new walls too, didn't he?
I had like a big St. Louis Blues fat head that I put up 2 weeks ago that my dad got me for Christmas. Like, I'll finally put that up not by the pool table. And like the guy was like cutting out all the pieces of drywall and he like leaves that up there. And he's like, we'll see if we can salvage this. And I'm like, what are you? It's done. It's done.
What is a fat head?
Like, it's like a big like St. Louis Blues logo that sticks there on the wall, or you can get them of different sports teams. They look nice.
Every sports team.
It's a big sticker you put on a wall.
Big giant sticker. That goes on the wall. Usually in like
super popular. Yeah,
very popular. And just the way this guy was like sawing around it. And it's like, dude, first of all, I'm pretty sure if I have to peel this off, I have to throw it away anyway. Second of all, that fathead is not going to provide the structural support needed to keep this wall in place. Like, just err on the side of ripping it all out and replace it is what I say.
I have this thing, Taylor. Like, my welder has a very loud sound to it. I bet it's not too far from the humidifier, and it just increases my stress level. Like everything about it running makes me like, anxiety is not the right term, but it's just, it weighs on me. I hate it. And the second I flip that switch off, it's like,
it's relaxation.
Yeah. Does that are those humidifiers doing that to you?
They're stressing me out, man.
Yeah.
They are so goddamn loud. I could hear them when I was trying to sleep last night. It is. It's like the sound of a jet beginning to turn on. Just down there. I can fucking hear it. And I'm going to go out and try and watch an episode of The Expanse after this. And I won't be able to focus because I'll be annoyed. And then I'll overeat.
I had the exact same thing happen. My basement flooded, and the all of the flooring had to be ripped up. It was like I don't even remember how much the flooring cost to begin with, but it was hardwood flooring. It was, if you watch the boot camp I did with Wings, that hardwood floor that he's being like pulled, he's pulling Jeremy across, like that all had to be taken up, and that hardwood was glued down to concrete. So like these guys had to run like these giant like scrapers to like get under it and then prise it up. And every time they prise, the boards would just splinter into all these. They wouldn't come up in like even sheets because like they were so glued down. They were just splintering up. It was thousands of dollars just to get that done, and then running the dehumidifier for a long time, like a whole week. And I'd go down there like every couple of hours and dump out 3 or 4 gallons of water. It was just shocking how fast it was pulling moisture out of the air.
Yeah, well, I believe they're drying it out, but like even like the area of carpet, it's dried out. Now it's just like crispy and rotten.
Yeah,
like,
it's ruined.
It's destroyed.
So do you have an ETA on how much longer they're going to run?
The guy who came out today was like, we're going to run it at least until tomorrow afternoon. And
that's not forever. Like that.
No, at that point, it'll just be like 3 straight days of it, which is annoying. But
I've spent a lot of time in both. And like in Colorado, when I'm like in the shower and I like blow my nose or whatever, there'll be like a tiny bit of blood. Mm-hmm. But like in Vegas, it's like, oh God. Oh, did I just have a period out of my fucking skull? Oh, just every
I blew
time.
so much blood out of my nose this morning, living in this arid house from these 12 dehumidifiers, sucking all the moisture out of my entire home. Fucking, I'm so tired of this. It's so loud. It's so loud in here. When I was trying to like fix stuff, I like walked out to grab another water earlier when I got booted from the show because Discord stopped working, and just greeted. I opened that door and it's the entire fucking floor of the house.
It's so stressful, Taylor. I think you're going to have to postpone your wedding.
I think I'm going to have to.
You don't want to get started in a wet house. This is a bad foundation for a future. Let's just push it back a couple years.
Just to win it back until this room is finished and I have my dream house.
Yeah.
Let's wait till every financial goal of mine is met.
Make your ex-girlfriend your girlfriend again.
Yeah. make some hats.
Like I hate to be like a Debbie Downer here, but whatever it takes for you to hide this water damage from the next person who purchases that home, you should get that done. Like if it costs a little, if they're like, yeah, your insurance covers this, this, and that. I mean, you'll be able to tell that this got a little wet. No. We are covering up a crime scene here. All right. No one should ever know that these boards were moist. Right? Like whenever I sold my last house and we had like a flood on the like main floor that came down into the basement, I was like, we got to get this fixed. All the drywall fixed. Like, no, you can't leave that exposed on the corner. And they were like, well, this is where your hot water heater is. Nobody's going to ever see the edge of this drywall. I'm like,
fix it.
Everything has to be covered. 100%. Like a home inspector needs to come here and have no idea that this ever fucking happened.
Well, I'm erring on the side of just having them tear absolutely everything out, because even the stuff they were trying to salvage with the dehumidifiers, it's like, I don't trust that actually did enough to demoisten the inside of that drywall.
Wood is fine. Drywall, you cannot trust.
Dude, and a
because
bunch of
black
my
mold.
insulation got fucked, and apparently when insulation gets
Nope.
wet, it's like there's no you just have to get rid of that and replace it.
Insulation, drywall, particle board. The only thing that's
carpet,
anything soft, that's all got to go. Fucking 2x6s, pressure treated lumber. That's fine. That's you're not throwing
the
that
back, like like the skirt kind of area on the back of like the corner part of a sectional couch.
Yeah,
like in that back corner, like that whole, like I was mostly just feeling initially like just the tops, just see like nothing had dripped on them from the ceiling, and that was mostly okay. But then like as they moved them around, like that whole back area near the corner where it was the worst is just fucking waterlogged. And I really hope that that's salvageable because I like that fucking sectional, but we'll see. God damn it, it's always fucking something, man.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. I wonder if like it's something that the previous home inspector missed and therefore would be liable for, because
I think that is it's probably come and gone.
Without getting into, usually there's like a year or two. Like without getting into specifics, I know someone whose home inspector missed a leaky roof, and they purchased the home, and then the roof leaked, and it stained the drywall and the roof on the interior, like with the ceilings like stained, and they had to cover all of that. I
have no idea who even inspected my house before I bought it.
You've got the paperwork. I bet it's all in a shoe box somewhere.
Yeah, it's over. It's in that folder box somewhere.
Yeah, it's right there.
Where? Yeah, let me go grab it. You guys can look.
Yeah.
Now you
see here, section 3.
What's that, Dick?
You've got a wife now. That's her job. Honey, I need my documents. I need home inspection contract right now. That's woman's Olympics, is filing paperwork and producing paperwork as quickly as possible.
That's what I can't wait to have her take full control of. I don't want to deal with all these papers. I've got big ideas. Things are cooking. I can't deal with the little pitter patter of daily life.
Yeah.
So you take care of it.
None of this is true.
Yeah, my basement's doing terrible. My garage is fine though.
How is your basement? Update.
It's like,
are you in the basement aging at the same rate? Do you both look?
Oh, we both look like shit, man. We both look terrible. So basically, this was like 2 months ago now, and it was funny. I was like, initially, like it got down to like -10 here, which is very, very cold for St. Louis in the beginning of March. And a pipe burst, exploded my basement, destroyed the ceiling down there, destroyed my walls. I had to have everything torn out in the finished area of my basement. Of course, the unfinished area is mostly fine. And I hire people. The insurance is actually pretty good. The initial contracting company, pretty good. They come and remove everything, and I give them the insurance money to rebuild and put the drywall and the ceiling back up, and they do. And as they're about to finish it, this guy comes up and he goes, "Hey, it's been raining all day, and I'm now noticing a puddle forming under the wall we just put back up. And so this is clearly a foundation thing." And I was like, "Hold the phone. You guys just get out of here. Sorry about this. I got to call a foundation company now." So I call a foundation company, and they go, "Yeah, to investigate, we just need you to tear out all that drywall, the lower 2 feet that you just used the insurance money to put in." And I was like, "Haha, I knew it." So I did that. And then they come and they're going to jackhammer out area in my foundation in the corner there, and then build gutters so that any water that comes through the foundation goes in the gutter, goes to an additional sump pump.
God
and
damn.
this fucking cunt bastard of a sales guy, this cunt, I talked to him, and he's trying to buddy be friendly to me. And like, as I'm about to give him the deposit and everything, he's like, "All right, it's $860 or whatever to the deposit on this." And I'm like, "Okay." And just to confirm, this is going to be within my wall. You know, it's not going to be visible. There's not going to be anything taking up space because, you know, this finished room isn't the biggest room. I you know, to fit everything I need it to, it's going to be in the wall, right? And he goes, "Oh yeah, you won't even know it's there." And I was like, "Good." Wanted to make sure of that before I gave you my card. Give him almost $900. This cunt leaves. We'll be there Monday. Monday rolls around. He's got $1,000 of my money in his pocket, and he no call, no shows me.
How did it get from 900 to 1,000?
I was saying almost 1,000.
Oh, okay.
It was like $800. It was like a few $1,000 project. And then Monday comes around. I call, nothing. No call, no show. Tuesday they call and they go, "I am so sorry. We were so busy yesterday." And it's like, "Oh, really? I don't know what that's like. I was just watching paint dry." Like, you're gonna, and they tell me like, "We'll be out there very soon." I was like, "Oh, okay. So you'll be here today?" "No, Friday." Okay. So this is already becoming a fiasco. Friday they come out. the guy puts it in, and he tells me when he's done, I'm working upstairs. I go down there to look at it, and this thing is 3 feet by 3 feet in the corner of my room. There's a pipe going out of it, and and it's the guy who installed it. It's clearly not his fault. This is clearly how these things are installed. The cunt salesman is the one who told me it would be in the wall. This guy was like, yeah, this is just how it's done. I don't know why they would have told you that, because that's not true. And I was like, awesome. He leaves. I finished paying for it. Monday comes around. This is months after the initial break because there were so many delays with the foundation company. Monday, I get the initial contracting company back out, the drywall people, the carpet people. They've been very easy to work with, very good to work with. And this guy goes down there, comes right back up, and he goes, I got bad news. That thing they put in is broken and it's spraying water on your basement. And I was like,
This is the thing to catch water, so there's no water in your basement.
It's actually spreading the black plague. Have you been tested for plague?
This is the sump pump. It's meant to get it out into my yard.
Yes.
And so I go down there, and he had turned it off at that point. And I was like, what's going on? And he goes, watch. And he plugs it back in. A giant crack in this 3-day-old from Friday to Monday PVC just starts going. Just spraying water out, and he unplugs it again. It slowly stops. And he's like, I'm so sorry, man. Like, and I'm like, dude, you're the drywall guy. This has nothing to do with you, but you got to go. This is like the 3rd time you've come over, and I've told you to leave because you can't do it. I call the fucking foundation company again, and I'm like, hey, you know that thing that I paid thousands of dollars for 3 days ago? It's broken. It's destroyed. I need someone to come out here. Please hurry. And she's like, actually, you're going to want to talk to Susan. I tell Susan that, and then I have to tell Ariel that, and then I have to tell Justin that, and then they assure me that Agatha is my ticket, and then they send me to Agatha, and I leave a message, and she doesn't get back to me for 36 hours. It's like the next day she's like, I was out of town, and I was like, where are you? And she tells me, oh, we can schedule you for next Tuesday. This is Tuesday of this week, and I was like, really? Like a whole week out? Like, I've already paid for this, honestly. And I think I said something to this effect. I was like, I've worked with a lot of companies, getting things done on my house, and I've never had a worse experience or dealt with worse unprofessionalism than with you guys. It's been a travesty every step of the way. Like, purposely using words like that so I don't curse, so I don't get hung up on or something. And she's like, I know, I'm really sorry about it. And I'm like, okay. And then I go, if you get any inkling that you can get me taken care of sooner than Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, please let me know. She's like, I will. I'll put a note on it. She calls me back 30 minutes later. She, Taylor? Yeah. It's going to be Wednesday.
I knew I saw it coming.
I was like, oh, okay. And so now it's still fucking Wednesday. I have a non-functional sump pump. It's been raining a lot. And so every once in a while, I go down there and I can see a small little bit of moisture where clearly it's leaking. And, I'm sorry. I skipped an entire wrong part. They came out and fixed that PVC pipe. The guy initially tried to go, I can just patch that PVC pipe. And I go, no, it's a shitty pipe.
Yeah.
Replace the whole thing. And then he left, but then they came back again, the initial drywall people, and he was trying to put it back again. He goes, hey, there's still water coming out. They needed this gutter to be 3 feet longer. And so now I'm waiting for them to come tear out an additional 3 feet of drywall and then re-jackhammer 3 more feet of my foundation to build out this gutter. This has been months in the making. And then yesterday, insult to injury. I've been annoyed at this. And I go down yesterday to work out. My solace, my time for me to get the angst out, for me to just go lift and have fun. I go down there and I'm pacing around to finish my first set of benches. I start walking around my basement and I go, huh, what are all those fucking bugs on the ground in the corner? I go over there. I've got a termite problem. I've got a bunch of little like winged termites. And so I go, oh, and I don't have anything to spray on them except for spider poison. And they're all over the place. And so
they love spider poison. They love it. It's like fucking vitamin B12 to termites, apparently. I can watch them actively grow and multiply every squirt.
If the termites have wings, it's a big problem. Did you know that?
It's a huge problem. Those are queens, I think.
It means they've matured, that they've been there for a long time.
So they're called like breeding or like swarm termites. That's what they call them. And so like they're swarm termites, except they're all winged, but they can't fly. And so like there's a ton of them on the ground that have clearly dropped from this I-beam in my unfinished area.
They like water, so
yeah, and they like
I love it.
But on the bright side, like I was like, I hope like a retard. I'm like, spider poison, will that work on other bugs? And I
think it would.
Of course it will. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
like this is gonna be
It'd
fine.
work
for
on
me.
people.
I
I
do
bet.
like
work on
one-
people.
it works on people. I do one little misting, and the rate at which these fuckers died was amazing. Like apparently brown recluse are made of something a lot tougher than these guys. And so,
Yeah.
and then I started spraying them. My fiance comes down and is like, "Oh, this is so fucking gross. This is so disgusting." And I'm like, she's like, "Where are they coming from?" And I was like looking around, and I see like near a vent, there's a bunch of them hanging out up there. And so I have to like spray spider poison all over this thing. And then I went down today. Or I went down last night. I woke up out of nowhere to pee at like 4 a.m. And I was like, I need to go make sure there's no more bugs down there. No more bugs. We vacuumed them all up. And then I went down there again today, and there aren't any more. So I don't know what the fuck is up with that.
Oh, they're hiding now.
Oh, well, yeah, they don't go where the bug spray is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That forced them to
No, but
tunnel
they
much deeper into the hardwood of the home.
And so now I'm waiting until Tuesday, so a nice gentleman from the bug place can come out. I'm so aggravated with
Hey,
how
Have you ever
not
seen that
have
movie like
out there.
what is it called? The Money
it's
Pit?
called the money pit. Yeah.
Yes. Tom Hanks.
So let me lay out how my day started. It started off great. I went paramotoring, did something that I don't usually do, and then I flew to this restaurant, met a friend who also flew there. Like we flew together, we ate breakfast, and we flew back. It's kind of neat to have like a little paramotor adventure. As I'm landing, the concrete people are there. I did not realize they were coming. Jackie didn't know they were coming, although she got an email. It's just not the best way to communicate with her. It's mixed in with all her spam.
Yeah. Email is not how you notify concrete delivery.
So that was her only notification. She got an email saying the concrete people would be there, and here's their job. First, when you put a pool in, at least our kind of pool, you put the dirt around it, and then it settles, and there's holes around the pool. So then they put the dirt in again, and then they were going to lay concrete forms, get it inspected, and then have like concrete itself. So I get there, and the road in front of my house, which I should note is my road. When it's broken, I have to repair it, and I own that road. I own the land. It's not like a public street. It's my road. If you think of it as part of my driveway, it's damaged. They came in there with their trailer, and they like gouged the fuck out of it. It's in our contract that they are not allowed to use that driveway. They are allowed to use the gravel driveway on the side of their house, and but I guess no one told them or something, so they fucked our road. And then they go and they start unloading their heavy equipment on our driveway. They're supposed to do this on the gravel. It's all worked out. It's in the contract. And it's a skid steer. And they're just like dragging the skid steer, gouging the driveway itself. I'm sorry?
What is a skid steer?
It's I'm sure you've seen it. It's like a short little thing for land. It has a bucket in the front that they pick it up, and you could Google it, but it's
Might call it a bobcat.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
alright,
it is. Yeah, Bobcat makes there's lots of people that make skid steers, but thanks, Kyle. So anyway, they unload their skid steer on our driveway on the asphalt, and they like gouge it and scrape it the fuck up. And what's interesting to me is like the scrapes are like, not that it's a big deal. Our driveway needs repair, you know. So the fact that they scraped
It does now.
but it's not that it has scrapes on it. It's the fact that the scrapes are like 12, 16 feet long. Like, how much of a not fuck did you give when you did like a 16-foot long scrape across my driveway?
Yeah,
It's
'cause
not.
You know, they didn't like only hear it at the end.
Yeah, yeah, right. So that's like my introduction to these guys, and I go around back, and I'm real cool. I'm like, hey, is there anything you need? Any questions you have? You know, I'm gonna go shower up. You know, if you need anything, you know, let me know. They're like, nope, everything's going great. I go inside, and the internet's been out. Right? There's a fiber optic line across. We have marked it with flags and painted this line fluorescent orange so that no one would like accidentally yank it or not know. And it is yanked the fuck out of the wall. And the box that it goes into is also like dangling from the wall. And so I'm fuming mad. And here's the am I the asshole? I'm like, you guys yanked this out of the fucking wall? You can't pull this fucking wire. So in my head, my whole world is collapsing, right? Like, I've got this show to do tonight, which is important to me, right? This is a big deal. I've got my mother-in-law's in the other room. She's just in that room like recovering from chemotherapy, fighting cancer, watching TV on Netflix all day long. That's what she does. So now she's in there in like a little prison. Well, now the internet's back. And then you have, my wife and daughter who use it like normal people. And my son, although is sometimes like, he's autistic, right? So sometimes he doesn't respond to situations like this really well. And I'll just like, I'm so mad that like in my head, these fucking monkeys grabbed the cords by their hands and yanked it out of the wall. Now they might have snagged it with equipment and not noticed the bright orange flags or the fluorescent orange paint on the wire, but more likely they gave no fucks, as evidenced by the driveway.
Is it possible that at this time they are very aware of the fluorescent paint and the flags?
I would guess, yeah, that at this point, I might have brought it up, that it was painted fluorescent orange and that we marked it with flags.
Was there a lot of gesturing?
and holding a wire. There's a black wire with like little sprigs of things. Right? And I'm like, what the, like lots of hand motions. I turned Italian in this thing. And I'm like, the fuck? You can't do, right? And I'm on the phone with AT&T and the guy's looking at me through the window and I give him like one of the, like how the fuck? So the concrete guys packed up their shit and left, right? One of the guys was younger. I'm going to call him like 21 or something. And apparently he was in tears from my tirade. Right? Jackie saw him and said little
What
Julio.
made a grown man cry today?
She said that.
Who relayed to you that this gentleman was crying?
So you have the concrete people. They are subcontractors for the pool people. There's the pool guy, Josh, who was very good. He's always on top of everything. And he helped us like figure out where the concrete should go. He has an eye for design and stuff like that. We like Josh, but Josh was not on site, and that would have helped a lot. Also, the concrete guys have like a foreman, and he was not on site either. Both of them were like, they arrived 30, 40 minutes after the laborers did, who had fucked up at least 3 things in 30 or 40 minutes. And so a little ding on anyone in charge to let these...
I'm a bit like whenever I hear them do these things, like it makes me so mad that like my immediate mindset is like, well, they should probably be communicating through my lawyer at this point, and they're going to meet that contract 100%, or we will be in court. That driveway is going to be fucking fixed. I don't care if I have to take pictures and show them in court and document
Pictures
and point
have
out
been
them that
taken.
driveway is
Yeah.
going to be fixed.
So
like the way you were leading into it, like because anytime someone has like an "Am I the asshole?" story, and they're like, "Well, I think I might kind of be the asshole here," I was like, "Oh, I'm like 85% sure Woody's going to be the asshole here." And the more you've said, the more I do not think you're the asshole. Like this was, if I'm understanding correctly, this was elucidated in the contract. It was described as you will take this road, not this, not our concrete, pathway, not our driveway.
Right.
Like that's inexcusable. Like that was the one thing they were supposed to do, right? Is hey, when you pull in, just come this way, right? And they must have been like, oh, I can't be bothered to look at line 1. If you had asked them for only brown M&Ms, you would not have gotten that.
No.
They would have brought fucking Skittles.
So I mean, I did curse at the people. I did curse, and they're like, "Oh, they're not accustomed to talking." Really? These fuckers aren't accustomed to being talked to at all. They don't speak English. One guy on site actually spoke English, and that was Baby Julio. And
It looks a little nice for the driveway.
So you're telling me that the only man in the crowd who could actually understand what you were saying was brought to tears?
The thing is, that's a lie, because like he was standing in the driveway when she took Colin to parkour camp. So she came back and she's like, he wouldn't even move out of the way. She's like, I don't know what I was supposed to do, drive on my grass. And she's like, he wasn't welling up with tears. There was no, like, he wasn't upset. He was being a dick still.
Sunk in yet.
Yeah.
It hadn't sunk in yet. It was like PTSD.
So
There was a
then they
delayed
backed
effect.
off. They're like, well, there weren't really tears streaming, but he looked upset. And I'm like,
Howdy.
whatever. Like
I'd be like, well, stop hiring pussies for your construction job.
I think I might have used that word when I talked to John. I might have said, sounds like he was a pussy. So
Yeah.
I guess that I think I've laid it out pretty evenly, and honestly, those are the things they did. My response had gestures and lots of, you can't pull this fucking wire.
Men knock their thumbnails off and fucking shoot themselves with nail guns. You wrap that shit up and drive yourself to the hospital. There is no crime. And those people, they come back. I haven't worked on a ton of construction jobs, but I've done a lot of minor ones and like roofing and stuff, and like hired 15 laborers once and 3 laborers once. And then my dad's got a friend who's a contractor, and I've been to his job sites and I've seen what goes on. And my dad's been like, look at that guy. Look at that guy work, because they'll be up there like these white men who are completely shirtless, but they're bronze from the sun, and they're swinging that fucking hammer as hard as they can. There's no like tap, tap, tap to get the nail started. They start with wow. Like
They've got the talent.
Yeah, and they don't. They're men.
Yeah,
it sounds like there's a over there putting in some concrete and he's probably trying to tap into the internet or something. That's what he was doing.
So
that's what I because that's what they always do. They're always like, oh, you brought him to tears. It's PTSD. I'd have been like, well, you know what? I think maybe he did it on purpose. I think maybe he was trying to get some pornography out of the wall or something.
So
just take it to your weird level.
And also, it's hard to judge the work they were doing aside from all the damage they were creating because they weren't done, right? But I'm looking at, they were supposed to like pack in the dirt next to the pool, and it's poorly packed in. There's air spaces and whatnot. I don't know if it was going to get better, but the work they've done thus far is shit. So that's a thing. Anyway, they left the job site, and Josh was like, I think we could have gotten them to come back had we just, if Josh had like smoothed it over and said, hey guys, come on back. We need this to get done. But he's like, he decided that wasn't the right course of action. Instead, they're going to like try to switch people on jobs and get it.
Yeah.
Because they work with a couple subcontractors.
Use a different concrete company.
Yeah. So we're going to get a different subcontractor to work on it.
That sounds awful.
I'm sure it'll delay the pool in the end, but fuck it. Like, I don't think I wanted them doing it, and I certainly didn't like the way they were headed. Am I the asshole?
No,
you're
you
not
are
the
not
asshole.
the asshole.
Really?
I don't know
in this situation.
I don't know.
Like, I'm not imagining when you said the guy was crying. I didn't believe that for a second. Like, there's nothing to gain as a man by crying.
No.
And so it's hard for me to imagine men doing it. Like, I can't imagine a situation where I'd be like, if I cry here, it'll get me out of it. Like, no, it'd just be like, if I cry here, I'll look like a bitch and get mocked in addition to losing whatever encounter I'm currently losing. Like, no, I just, there's no reason for it. And if it said it in the contract, it's like, they should have to go back and fix that. I can't imagine that it's like a ton of work for a laborer crew to quickly fix your driveway, but
I don't know
they
how
should
to
have
fix
to do
that.
that.
But yeah, I agree. They need to handle that or hire someone to handle it.
Did they
cover
scrape
the bill.
asphalt? Is that what they did?
Yeah,
the way that I would fix it to my standards, you're gonna have to go back out there and spray that bitch with tar. You have to retar that thing.
I get like I actually Googled it and but I didn't go long because I was on my phone. And that's one way to repair it. There's another way of troweling it. I don't know the best way to repair it, but they should do something because otherwise it's just going to get wet and freeze and open, and that'll be where the first pothole forms. Yeah. So yeah, they need to handle that. And I think the way that it went so bad is they had a trailer with the flat tire, gave no fucks about the fact that the trailer had a flat, and just drug shit along the ground.
What a great crew.
Yeah.
That wasn't the A-team.
No, that last part's not confirmed, but I heard...
maybe it was, and somewhere else, like one of those Ugandan Toyota war trucks just barreled up someone's driveway, and 3 drunken Mexicans fell out the side of it, and we're like, "Is this the right house?" No, somewhere else that happened.
There was
maybe
one
you did.
thing. Josh was like, "They're just not used to being spoken to that way," and I'm like, "Really?" No, I don't mean to be like a total ass that like doesn't treat laborers like full-fledged people or something, but I just find it hard to believe that in the construction industry people bite their tongues as much as he says.
I am accustomed to a much more gruff, no political correctness kind of like, this is a manly work area kind of thing. This is very much like a locker room or a sports team on the field at the same time. When you fuck up, there's scolding. I've seen laborers get scolded many
There's accountability.
times. There's accountability. I've seen a lot of laborers get scolded. I've seen my dad do it. He screams at them in their face. He lets them know. He holds the thing. Look at this thing. This thing isn't supposed to be like this. You did this. You've been warned. This is the 3rd time. You're costing me fucking money. Last chance, Julio or Bob or whatever.
I remember as a little kid, like sometimes being upstairs because my parents are always having like renovations, and like you're upstairs in your room doing what homework, and I'd hear like screaming from the kitchen or wherever downstairs, and I'd be like, "Oh no, mom and dad are fighting," and then I'd hear like the other side of the voice being like, "Well, how do you expect me to get the supplies I need when you're not fronting me the money needed for this quality of tile?" And I'm like, "Oh, thank God, it's just the contractor. It's just the contractor being a cunt. It'll blow over." Like, but that was like something. You're right. Like I heard my dad and that guy yelled, and my mom and that guy yelled at each other repeatedly, because that's kind of what you need to do. It seems like you just get taken advantage of if you don't, because they just will play the, I'm just trying to keep, they do the Jerry Seinfeld routine where it's like, I'm just trying to keep as many options open for you as possible. It's like, no, you're not. You're trying to avoid making any kind of decisions. I hired you as an expert, and now you're not being an expert. You're being a professional question asker. Like if I hire an accountant to do my taxes and they go, "How do you think you should file this part?" I'm going to go, "Are you fucking kidding me? No, you better tell me how to file this part."
I think we get a deference here. What do you think? I'm not really.
That's why you're here. Yeah, I don't go behind the counter at Subway and become my own sandwich artist. I go there for a reason.
And if I was, there'd be more turkey on that bitch.
You're absolutely right about the professional question asker thing. I despise that in any kind of a professional. You get it most often and most readily at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, though. Like you go in there and you're like looking at nail guns, and the guy walks by and he's like, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" I want to be like, "I don't know, can you? Like, do you know more than the name brands? Do you like? I want to rattle off like, well, I need this, and that. Do you know the exact one, or are you going to have to start looking at labels now? Because that's what I'm doing, and I can read just fine. But you wouldn't hire those concrete men again.
Fuck those guys, and fuck them for making me feel bad. Poor Julio's in tears. Bullshit. My wife saw him. He wasn't in tears. He was kind of being rude.
I feel even less. Is it racist that I feel even less bad because at first I pictured like a white kid with blonde hair, but now that I know that it was a Mexican guy, I'm like, he should definitely be hardened to a little screaming and cursing, like, right? Like,
do you think he went home that night, or he's going home tonight, and his wife's like, "Oh, Pablo, how are you today? Good day at work?" It's like, "I am never been more thankful to not fully understand the language here." I could only see the tears welling in the eyes of Jacob, my good work friend, as this savage in a massive house, escort level dealer. It's why I say, of course, I say nothing because this is a powerful man. He flies. You think we have run of the place? Just not use the side door. No, he flies in. He knows.
I did fly in.
That's what Pablo and State Farm are saying tonight.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they're not working on the pool. I'm not glad the pool's going to get delayed by some amount of time.
So you have a story, Woody, and you are just ready.
Woody has a story,
but
Woody, you have to drink first. You got to drink.
It's story time.
Well,
yeah, we have
story
to
time.
Again,
Everybody drinks
because you smoked a cigarette.
Yep.
Two for you.
Let's go, Taylor.
Down the hatch. It's 2 drinks, Woody. I'm sorry, because he lit a cigarette.
You gotta drink. Come on, let's not be bitchy.
Yeah, I'm running out.
I'm 3.
I know. Go
in. You got a phone, right, with text messaging.
All right.
She's just gonna show
the story well. Some contractors come into my house. I'm going to change his name to protect him, and he's telling me about his story. So he's from New York, and his uncle does like plumbing and sewage contracting, but not the kind you might get under your house, like these big pipes, like gigantic concrete pipes that you could stand upright inside of. And his uncle is the #1 like sewage contractor in the entire state. And they're Italian, if you follow where I'm coming from, right? This is a mafia thing.
Oh.
And he gets any job he wants. All he has to do is pick up the phone, tell them to accept his bid, and then he wins that bid. That's how this works. That's why he's the #1 guy. And his uncle's old, balding, like hunchback sort of Italian guy. And the inspector comes on site. The inspector's like this college graduate. He's maybe 23, 24 years old. He's kind of new. He's competent, but he doesn't like know the scene. So apparently when you connect these gigantic concrete pipes, there's like a male and a female part where they go in together, and you put a soap around the edge. And the soap serves as like a lube so that they connect, and maybe as a seal or something afterwards. They're using the wrong soap. So the inspector says, man, you got to take these things apart, put the proper soap on them, you'll be good to go. And the uncle is like, fuck you. And the inspector's like, oh no, I hear you. Appreciate the offer and everything.
That's
but
very kind of you to throw that my way.
As a matter of fact, did that already. It's good, but we're talking soap now. And you got to take them apart, do whatever. The uncle is like, I'll fucking kill you. And the inspector again, he's getting a little nervous, but he doesn't know what to do, and he's like, you got to do this. It's not my rule or anything, man. And the uncle is like, I'll fucking kill you. Get the fuck off the job site. Get the fuck out. And the inspector is like, yeah, I don't know. So the uncle, this little Italian guy, he pushes him in the hole. It's like an 18-foot drop. They don't know if he's alive anymore. The fucker's in the bottom of the hole, and he starts moaning. Now they're happy he's alive. But he's at the bottom of the hole, and he's like, they're not sure he's going to make it. And the uncle goes, all right, cover him up. Right? It's like cement pipe on top of him. The guy's in that, it's an excavator.
Holy shit, this is Lethal Weapon.
Is that your house?
No, this is in Buffalo. It's from a while back.
This happened in Lethal Weapon.
so they have the big excavator thing, and the uncle's like screaming at him or whatever, and the guy in the excavator is like, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm not doing it. And the uncle's like, fucking do it. I'll kill you too. And the guy in the excavator, he locks the door. So now the uncle is like clawing at the door, trying to get in. And the guy's like, just, I don't want any part of this. Forget it. And then they calm him down. They settle him down. And
so they do that to a guy.
What's that?
Lethal Weapon 3, they put the guy in the cement on the job site and just filled him up with the pipe on top. Yeah.
So anyway, the guy gets paid, and this company, this like giant sewage company in New York, they shut them down. They're out of business. They can't do business in like New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Right, all those states. Now he's shut down. He can't work for them anymore. What a story! There's more. So the guy who got hurt get paid. 2 months later, he's back to being the biggest concrete sewage person in the state again. Someone else got paid, and they're good to go. That's how that went down. There's another story.
I thought that was in your backyard during all of your renovation for the first like 4 minutes of the story. And I'm like, how did you not been on news?
He's like, and then I walked outside and said, no.
I kicked Francisco into the hole and he screamed as he fell.
And I stood between the pipe and the bulldozer and said,
please, no, not this cement.
And I let it happen because fuck up my door jams.
If Jamal was in that hole, I'd have been so cool with it.
You know, let it
Oh.
Oh, there is no sympathy for Jamal.
No,
Jamal can be a statue.
Jamal's fine with it. So there's another story. This guy, this time it's not his uncle, but it's him. He lives in New York, like I said, and he owns I don't even want to say what kind of company he is, but because I'm afraid people are gonna like dox him and figure this out. And the story starts like 15, 20 years ago. I don't know the time frame exactly. But he's up there and he's in New York and he's got a successful subcontracting business. But it's not like lighting on fire or anything. And at the time, this area, Research Triangle Park, is like fastest growing. It's winning like best place to live in every like money magazine or whatever. And people are flocking here. So much like I did at that time. Anyway, he flies down here without like any setup or anything. He flies down here. He doesn't have a car. And he calls the local like building supply space and says, hey, I'm this kind of contractor. What do you, where should I need a job? Who's hiring? Not I need a job, but like I want to bid some projects. And they say, go here. So they send him to this big subdivision. And the guy's like, I'm a contractor. I want to do this for you. He bids it out, $250,000. And right on the spot, they're like, yep, I'll take it. And now he has a $250,000 job, no employees, nothing. So he calls up his staff from New York and says, guys, fly on down here. We're going to do a thing. Now, he and his wife, he had two kids, I think. They might have both been daughters. We're not sure. He had 2 kids. He and his wife had talked about it, but she didn't know that it was like really going to happen. And she certainly didn't know it was going to happen this fast, that he was going to land a $250,000 job Like he literally took a taxi to the job site and a calculator and just started, getting to work. So he calls his wife and he's like, it's great down here. I got more business in 5 minutes than I've had, all year up in New York. We're moving. And she's like, oh, fantastic. Let's do this. And he's thinking that the marriage is great. He's thinking that everything is cool. But his wife is like, nope, I'm not moving. I'm going to divorce instead. So what happens is a few weeks later, she calls him and she's like, it's over. I've worked with an attorney and, I want half of everything. I want your truck. He had like a brand new truck and that's that. And he's worried that he's not going to see his daughters and stuff anymore. So that's where it stands. Now they're arguing. Now, he's running the business and it's going okay in North Carolina, but his personal life is a wreck. They're arguing all the time. So anyway, he gets a call from his cousin, and his cousin is an assassin for the Mafia. And he says, dude, you got to watch your back. And he's like, what? Watch my back? He's like, yeah. Someone just tried to hire me to kill you. He's like, I'm not gonna. But they just hired me. There's a hit on you right now. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, then what did Mark Wahlberg do?
So I'll tell you, he hops in the truck that she's demanded that he returns, and he drives back to New York. Just fucking no radio on, stone-faced, like 9-hour drive or 11-hour drive back up to New York, just focused the whole time. And he drives all the way up. When he's like 10, 15 minutes from home, he calls and he says, honey, or whatever he calls her, get out of the living room. Put the kids, you in the kitchen. I'm coming home. And she's like, what? He says, get the fuck out of the living room. I'm on my way home. So he goes home. He sees the house. He makes it right. Drives into the fucking house. But he hit like the front steps and lost most of his speed. So he hit the house, but he's not like in it or something. He just damaged it. Merker's girlfriend spotting drink.
Yeah. I was going to let you finish your story.
So he throws the thing in reverse, hits the gas again. Now he's smashed into the house. As he opens the driver's side door, now he's in the house. And he's not beating anyone up or anything crazy like that, but he's returned the truck.
He pulled a house.
So he's walking down the street, and this is a big, strong guy, and he's just sort of like, I guess, getting his head together. And the police get up to him and name change. They're like, are you Joey Soprano? And he's like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, put your hands behind your back. Okay. And then he puts his hands behind his back, and then they book him in and whatever. And that is his return the truck story. And then what happened as the story wraps up, his I don't know, he got off or something like that. About 2 or 3 months later, his wife calls and says, these kids need a dad. I'm going to move to North Carolina. You're going to visit them whenever you want. You're going to be a part of their lives. And the moment that the youngest graduates from high school, I'm moving back to New York. And that's how it actually went down. They went there. They were like they got along with each other-ish, as divorced, in regards to how divorced parents do. He had good visitation rights throughout the whole kid's childhood. And this 15 years later, when the last one graduated from high school, she moved back to New York. And I'm like, oh, so it really worked out. And he goes, well, she did try to kill me. And I haven't forgotten that. That's my story.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, same guy.
I told you guys New Jersey's a shithole. You won't listen to me. How many times do I have to say it? It smells and there's organized crime. Drink again. That's Merker's girlfriend.
So here's the race. December 18th, 2015. Will I move into my house before that date?
Yeah,
maybe.
You'll be in May for sure. That's my current guess for when you're moved in and have your furniture in and you're doing shows from there and all. You're a month out. You got to be.
You're so optimistic.
At least a month. Like you're a month to 45 days. Gotta be because
It just feels like forever. We fired another contractor.
What was his profession?
He was a finish carpenter or a trim carpenter. There's something.
Now, is this the guy that kept talking up like he's gonna tear through material and be way ahead of the curve?
Yes, yeah, that was him.
What did he do? All right, so what did he do wrong?
The trouble is he was installing. He was just working on doors, and you could say that the doors were they were regular bedroom and closet doors, and they were sort of the test for whether we put them on the master bedroom doors. Now the master bedroom doors are heavy. They're 8 feet tall. They require special locks. They're like French doors that like meet together, and there's 4 of them, so 2 pairs. And they were expensive. They're like $600 a door or something like that. And there's a 2-week lead time. So if you mess up that door, you know, there's like a lot of time and money involved. So he was doing like closet doors where if you mess it up, it's like $100, try again.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't coming out right. Like there'd be a 1/2-inch gap between the door and the jamb. And well, I don't mind a 1/2-inch gap between the door and the jamb. I can deal with that. But you should know it's not right. Just be like, I gotta try again, Woody. Sorry. Dude, I take 2 tries on lots of things. I get that. People aren't perfect. It's cool. I've done doors and I'm not that good at it. I know that it's hard. But for him to like present it to me and be like, good enough? Crossing my fingers. It's like, no, dude, you know it. I know it. That's shitty work. Who has 1/2-inch gaps around their door? There's light coming in from the hallway and everything. And I'm like, that's don't come to me and hope that my standards are so low that you think, you know, that you can move on. And eventually they told him he wasn't going to do the stairs, and he left in a huff. He just packed up his stuff abruptly and left. And everyone was like, fine, don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. So I guess he wasn't technically fired. Maybe he quit. But if the closet doors were an interview, he didn't make it to stairs.
Well, what the fuck? How hard is it to find a decent carpenter? I wouldn't have thought it'd been this hard. I mean,
the guy we have now seems pretty good. His name
Until
is Lane.
next week.
Well, he's
when
like your
you
3rd or
tell
4th
us.
carpenter.
Marka, I hear you, and you might be right. I'm optimistic. I like this guy. I have nothing negative to say about him thus far.
Yes.
He's working
Hopefully
on the
he
master
does
bedroom
well.
doors, and he seems to really want me to be happy, right? Like, okay, he was putting the doors in, and there were like shims around the jamb, and I thought the shims were too much, right? These doors are heavy, so the jambs have to be well supported. If you don't know, a jamb is like the side that goes around the door, not the molding, but the jamb is like I don't know. Am I on camera?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is jam. This is jam. You know, the inside of the door. This is
Point
casing.
at something that is not jam.
This is casing. This molding
Okay.
is casing. This inside part is jam. That makes like a upside down U. Anyway,
Now break the door down.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. House talk might bore some people, so I don't want to take too long on it. But the jam was shimmed, like between that and the studs, a lot. And I was like, "There's a heavy door. You know, should it have that?" It had like 7/8 of an inch shim. And so he just took it all down, put it back up with like solid shim, so it's basically stud strength. And after he shows me like pictures of it and everything, he like shakes my hand, looks me in the eye, says it's important that I'm happy. These are good attributes, right? You know, like
Yeah.
That is.
So so Lynn seems like an all-star so far.
Well, good.
Yeah, I hope, and he's going to do the steps next, and but I mean the upstairs floors that Jamal, I consider it fire damage. Like we've got a major problem after the painting happens that like we haven't even started on yet. So
well, this new guy sounds like a
There's that
quality
upstairs
carpenter.
flooring thing.
Christ-like, even.
what did you say, Kyle? I missed it.
Christ. Oh, I was just saying that upstairs flooring. I just kind of in the back of my head, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure somebody's working on that, but no, they've got to rip it all up, huh?
It's not a bad idea to do flooring after paint, like you know, because the flooring can get damaged during paint either by ladders or just spilling. So the fact that we're not working on floors isn't a problem. Also, it's really dusty work. You don't want to do that at the same side as paint. So yeah, the floors are just sitting there, nothing's happening, but it's looming. That's a thing. So that just exists, man. That's
well, like I said, sometime the next month or 2 or 3, you'll probably
another thing about floors is like
if it was something else, like let's say hypothetically it was light fixtures, we could be like moving furniture in and like, you know, getting ready to live there. With floors, no, like you can't move in. You can't do much when you're waiting on floors to get done. So that's a thing. We'll wrap house talk there.
I'm gonna be happy when you get your house. I know you are.
It's a weird thing. Like emotionally, I've just
checked out.
I've sort of just removed the possibility that it's actually going to happen. Like sometimes I did that. I did that when I was going through college. Like there were periods of it where I never really targeted finishing. I just kept my head down and worked toward it. And like knowing that someday I guess it would get done, but it kind of like, you know, maybe it's in the afternoon and you're at work and you really wish it was 5, so you don't look at the clock hoping for pleasant surprises.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you watch it or you fixate on it, and it just sets you up for heartbreak. And that's kind of where I am on this. You know, I was talking to the general contractor this morning, and he's like, "Doesn't it look great?" Because some of the rooms are getting painted, and I was like, "Are you looking for praise?" You know, like maybe I'm a dick, but all I see are problems. You know, there is what in my head feels like fire damage with that upstairs floors just looming. It's mid-February, or I'm sorry, it's mid-March, and it was supposed to be done in January. It's like I don't see any way he's getting praise from here on forward. Sorry, you missed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like fuck. You know, this has been a comedy of errors at this point. So yeah, that's I don't know. It's fucked up.
Your poor house.
I'll do a video tour when it's, you know, when you can kind of see it and stuff. You know, like I think people kind of want to see that.
Coming 2016, Woody's house tour.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna hide anything, or you know, I'll show people. But yeah, that's. I wish I had the words for it. Like it's a big chunk of our life savings, and a lot of it was like hopes, dreams, and happiness were wrapped up in moving to this thing, and like, you know, like doing this job, making videos, working indoors all the time. I wanted to have like an outdoor component of my life. None of that shit's happening. You know, that's, you know, I would not have guessed it'd be mid-March and there's no end in sight on this thing. So.
Yeah, it seems like so long ago when you, Chiz, and I were looking at houses. That was last year. I mean,
and it wasn't like right before Christmas or anything. I mean, we're talking about like September and stuff, and it's a long time ago. That's awesome.
Did you have any problems with contractors? Maybe named Jamal. You had to boot out.
What's Boogie probably doesn't know. So when we bought this place. Sorry about the echo, by the way. I'll do the audio treating done.
Yeah,
soon
it's
enough.
huge, Woody.
I really do my best to have good
everything,
audio.
Woody.
Terrible. So anyway, we moved in and we had the place renovated. Like we had some new hardwood floors put in. We got everything painted and new light fixtures put in, stuff like that. The guy told us it would take 2 weeks. It was over 3 months. Like crazy overtime, over budget as well. And it was a really rough, ugly experience. I hated it. Hated every second of it. And Jamal, who he was mentioning, was a subcontractor. He did terrible work, so the general contractor didn't want to pay him. And then now Jamal is suing the two of us. Like, I've got anything to do with this shit. And I'll be in small claims court on May 4th. So that's when everything ends. I have nothing to lose. So he's suing for $6,000. So what I did is I held $6,000 back from the general contractor. I put it in an escrow account. And then, you know, whenever he gets paid, he, you know, like, so the court will say, give all 6 to Jamal, or give 3 to Jamal, 3 to Ed, the GC, or whatever. You know, I don't know what they'll say, but from my standpoint, I already put the $6,000 in escrow, and I could give a shit where it goes.
What does escrow mean?
Yeah, this is what I think of as like an old man superpower, right? Like I just know old man shit, right? That's the thing. So
yeah,
escrow,
you're an old fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of like a special bank account that's dedicated to a purpose. And the money doesn't come out of it until like an arbitrator, like a central person, agrees to it. So like, let's say I'm going to buy your house. I'll put all that money in escrow, and then it will transfer to you upon, the exchange of the house. It's kind of like setting aside dedicated funds for a thing. And then when that thing happens properly, it goes over. If that thing doesn't happen properly, it comes back to you.
So it's just like a pending account, basically. So you're pending your payment until it's sufficiently provided.
You're putting payment in kind of, it's not a joint account. I mean, it's kind of yours, but there's some third person who decides that the action has happened that triggers the transfer.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, look at that. I learned something.
Yeah.
3 minutes in.
This action-packed PKA brought to you by Crunchyroll.
Join us next week when we go over tax law.
Let's talk about Ben Gay for a while. That really helps your joints.
But I like tools too, and I have a toolbox. Do you have a tool chest?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. I've got a lot of tools that I don't use at all. Like I've got like full. At one point, I went out and bought everything that I thought I would ever need, and so like I got all the air tools and all power tools, and I've got saws, and I've got you've seen all that tooling. I think that I've got the lathes and the machine presses, and I got boxes of tooling for that stuff if I knew how to use it. I met a guy today. It's my lawyer actually that I was telling you about that I don't want to get too in depth about what he does, but he's going to be
rape charges.
I think I was begging Chiz not to press, but what are you gonna do? So like I think I need to become friends with that guy honestly, because he was telling me today, he's like, oh yeah, I know how to use a lathe and machine press and all the machinery that I've got. Like he knows how to use it. But yeah, I got a ton of tools.
Interesting.
I have so I bought a lot of tools kind of one by one as I started building my personal skill set. So I bought this off-road buggy, and then I fixed it and rebuilt the suspension and learned welding and all sorts of stuff. And as I was doing it, I'd buy the tools I needed. So that left me with a lot of mismatched sort of tools in a bag that I carried around. I have a tool bag because it makes less noise. And then I bought a tool chest because getting all my shit out and putting it away from the bag became a big part of the job. And now I have a tool chest, and I went to Sears and I bought one of their big things. I don't know, I'll get the number wrong for sure, but they're like, this is the 1,800 piece tool set. That's the one. And now I have all the what do you need? 22 millimeter, 6 point, 12 point, 6 point deep socket, or 12 point deep socket. You let me know, because they're all there So I have a tool chest I think it's maybe 4 feet wide, and I don't know how tall it is, but I can't see the top unless I'm on my tippy toes. And so it's it's a pretty legit thing, and I'm super happy all the time. I need my tape measure, there's a spot for it. It's always in that thing. I need a ratchet set or a wrench or whatever. You accumulate tools over time, but buying them in a pack, like a set, is so much cheaper. So I was like, well, I'll just have a tool bag for my truck that sort of lives there all the time. And I've got a set of tools for my garage that I use more often.
Did you see the thing I sent from Adam Savage yesterday? Here it is again if you didn't see it.
Adam Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
I don't like drawers. This is where things go to die. This is my solution.
No, I disagree completely. And I'll tell you what, if he doesn't like drawers, that tells me he probably doesn't work with wood mostly.
He totally does. You see their YouTube channel.
He's got the back in the background.
You should see the drawer system he has. It is, you talk about your set. He has his Imperial and his metric, and it is fucking insane.
So the reason I think what he's got going on here is so great for him is because he's constantly using those tools.
Yeah. He's not pulling drawers open all the time. This is the guy that's always working, crafting something.
I need to show it on the big screen.
And this is kind of like all of his tools, really. There's all kinds of stuff back
This
there.
is just pliers.
This is just pliers but there's
wrenches.
They're not all. I can't think of. What
I don't
that
like
thing
it,
is
man.
There's like a riveting gun, and there's some.
I
other
wouldn't
stuff.
swap. You go to my pliers, you pull out a drawer, it's a fucking display. They're all there. They all match. They're in rising sizes, and they're
How many pliers do
categorized.
you have?
Even if you have 40, you're not on par.
No, I don't. I probably have.
I want to say 10, right? So I feel like that would be a normal
No, you're
amount for
coming in
unit
low.
jerseys.
I'm gonna
Really?
say 25.
Okay.
Maybe 20. Maybe I'm.
It looks like
exaggerating,
he's
but-
got 15 per row. And this is just the front.
I'm
side.
gonna say he's got duplicates and stuff though. Like dude, if you went to my toolbox, I don't think you'd be like, you're missing this. I've got pliers that you'd use to, work on computers, all the way up to pliers you'd use to work on oil refinery shit.
Well, I'm sure he has the tiny small pliers too.
I've
Those
seen
go
the
in a
tiny ones.
drawer.
I'm looking at this. I like this. I could see the advantages to both. It's just I think that he used because of the work that they do specifically. I bet this is pretty nice because like you're counting on other people.
You don't
to
have
put
to,
back where they
it's
go.
like exactly. You don't open a drawer, set it back in its nice area. You put it out. This is someone right on the hook.
It's
All right, I
probably
know where it's
easier
at.
to like tell someone because a lot of the projects that I've done that actually involve doing shit. It's like, Ricky, go get me the the blue one with the the green one with the snipping end with the. And
I'll
you
do
could just be
this.
like right there.
If you go to any garage in the world, you'll find almost every professional mechanic has a setup closer to mine than Adam Savage's.
That's true.
He's not a mechanic.
He's not a
the guy
mechanic,
building
but you'll find very few people who
But like I
prefer
said-
his rack of bullshit over
Like I
a
said, though,
well-organized
too,
tool chest.
He literally has your garage wall cabinets with imperial, cabinets with metric. He literally has every kind of socket and wrench you could have. It's insane.
And
You
the
go-
other thing is,
and they're building
this is
something
just as
constant.
I think he's got duplicates because like I can't. I might be missing some of the bigger stuff. Like once you get over like 1.5 inches, I don't have every socket to the 64th or whatever. But like I got a lot of like my tools are right mostly.
I feel like this is just I bet he's got 20 of these though. Like that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like
Well, now
I
we're
feel like this
talking
is just
duplicates again. Now I do see the advantage of pulling it over to whatever table he's working at. I bet he's got a lot of projects cooking at one time.
I mean, where are his hammers? You don't think this guy owns 15 different kinds of hammer? Like, I got 4 kinds of hammers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got 4. I don't know what I'm missing.
He's got
one. There's all kinds of like rubber hammers and
I
there's
didn't
the
count
different...
them. I got 2.
I don't count my rubber hammers.
I don't. I got a rubber mallet and then I got a rubber almost like club. Like it's got a green circular thing. That's nice for woodworking when you pound things together. And
I think my dad must have like I mean he's got
I'm
some
sure I'm
hammers
missing
that are
yeah.
There's big hammers, right? Like sometimes
Oh, I didn't
like,
count that either. Like the mini sledge.
Yeah, he's got like it's like a 6-pound sledgehammer, but it's stuck on just a steel handle welded to it, and like sometimes they're trying to break a tractor tire down or something like that, and there's lots of just pounding the fuck out of something. I don't know, and there's lots of those metalworking hammers that have they're made of softer materials and stuff.
I didn't count those either.
You got those too.
Yeah, in particular, you know why I didn't count
I don't
those?
count my metallurgy hammers.
I inherited them from my father-in-law who's dead. So like they kind of just sit. They just kind of sit in a toolbox because I don't really work. Like I have jewelry hammers and stuff like that.
Really? That's cool.
Maybe I'm
You
not.
should try-
I don't
You
know,
know what-
if I were to re-guess how many hammers I have. Maybe I've got like 20 hammers. Like if you were to count all the hammers.
My
I looked at a video. You could with a timestamp on it. You can click around too. These are just some of his toolboxes he has in the array of shit, like from screws to actual sockets and tools and stuff. Like they literally, it's a warehouse, and yeah, they do the stuff they do outside of MythBusters is way more interesting than me.
I don't know if I can hang with his stuff, but I'm not that. Like I'm in his league, dude. Like
it's just ball bearings and it's just bearings. Yeah,
I
that's
bought
a whole thing of bearings.
I bought an old school card catalog that's maybe like 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide. And then I took all those, the super long card catalog drawers. I don't know if people do. I divided each of those. Like I rebuilt the drawers and then I divided all of them into 5 sections. So while I guess I don't have as many sections as I got a lot of shit.
Drill bits. He's got every drill bit.
Yeah.
He's got a wall of drill bits. This one thing is just and then the camera pans down and it's like more.
It's in Apex right now. I got a freaking like toolbox filled with drill bits that weighs like 60 pounds.
This is the kind of stuff I want see, I feel like this is why your house tour should be delayed until you are 100% set up. I would like to see it if like this guy's
tool chest. Like I feel like part of your video should be the tool chest. Or maybe that should be a different video. Maybe just like your workshop whenever it's finally assembled.
Yeah, I maybe that when we build the shop and stuff. That's on me. I'm
Did
the
you get an
holdup
air
right now.
compressor?
I have two. So I've got the big air. I have a 60-gallon continuous duty air compressor that could just you'd use that for like I want to say spray painting, but what do they call like HVAC painting or whatever?
You mean like when you're painting a car or something?
Yeah. So I've got an air compressor capable of running all day, continuous duty, etc. That's 60 gallons, and then I have a little one that's probably 2 gallons or something. That's easier to carry around. It's super quiet. So, yeah, I don't know. I've been handy at stuff for a while now. Like, I started getting handy about 20 years ago, and then you just accumulate tools over time, and people die handy. I get it. But yeah, a lot of my tools are in Apex right now.
That off topic, but that To Catch a Contractor show I've been watching and sending you snippets of. One of the guys that fucked up and was so bad had a contractor's license, an electrician's license, a plumber's license, and an HVAC's license. This guy had every credential. House in total disarray. Like a bomb fucking hit it.
Really?
It was yeah, he was like the most qualified fuck up they've ever had. Like I said.
That's interesting.
I love that show.
I've never seen that show. I actually saw like a few minutes of it at a hotel recently, but I like Adam Carolla. I remember him from the Man Show, and he's
the best part of it.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. My apologies. But she's been sending me these things, and one he sent me in particular was my contractor. So my not literally my contractor, but like it's like he was quoting him. You know, like I didn't do that. That's your subcontractor. That's who you hired to do that stuff. Well, you know, like he was. I guess he didn't know anyone, right? The problem with my contractor, the total fuck up, jackass, lying thief that he is. He didn't have any industry contacts. Like one of the things about a general contractor, like one of the things that makes him valuable is he's kind of vetted the subcontractors. He knows people. They work well together. You know, if I constantly hire this sub, then that sub knows that for me to continue hiring, he needs to prioritize my work. He needs to do a good job because that's where most of my work comes from. He has to have like his A team that he can assemble and a backup guy here and there. This guy didn't know fucking anybody. So he'd call like the local supply house and say like, hey, I need a guy that does like tile or floors or something. And they just recommend random. Jamal got recommended through that way. And he, you know, insists like, yeah, Jamal's, you know, that's not my problem. Like, I didn't do it. It's Jamal. I really ProSource is to blame here because they're the ones that recommended Jamal. You fucking pieces of shit. How can you blame your subcontract? You are your subcontractor. You're a general. You don't even fucking turn a screwdriver. Your only job is to hire the right subcontractors and manage this. When you hire the wrong subs, you can't say you didn't do that. That was the clip that Chiz sent. And, there's a new thing that you want to watch it?
There's the clip if you want to watch it. I love this clip.
I have a little piece of update for my for my guy. But yeah, I'll watch it together. Are you ready?
Yeah. You good, Kyle?
Mm-hmm. Ready, set, play.
You did a job. You didn't complete the job.
I didn't do that job. What? You did the job.
You did the job.
That was such. Oh, back up. You didn't build the deck? The deck was built by some guys I hired, yeah. But dude, you collect the money, it's your contract.
Yeah. I got on this deck and it felt like I was standing in a dinghy. If something had happened on this deck, you'd probably be going to jail. The French door, or as I call them, freedom doors, because I'm American. This stucco looked like a drunk guy put it on with a playing card.
Man.
Who did the stucco work?
One of my mason guys.
Yeah, but listen, let me just say something, Carl. You got to stop making a separation between you and your guys. You are your guys.
I would have never done that personally. It's your responsibility to do the job. I gave you all of the money.
Dude, that's literally a conversation I had with my GC. I said, you know, you are your subcontractor. I hired you to do this. When your subcontractor screws up, you screwed up. And they would like this. They belong on To Catch a Contractor. These fuck ups. And the engineer called me, right? So here's the deal. We were gonna build a shop with this guy because I'm stupid slow learner. I trust people. That's one of the mistakes I make. And I was like, all right, I know the house isn't going great or anything, but let's talk about the shop and get that thing going. I've saved up my money. There's no reason we can't do it now. And so he does. I remember I had a conversation with him where I'm like, you're in an interesting business. Like, you're bidding this thing out and you have time and costs into this shop and you don't even know if you have the deal yet, right? Because I'm telling him, like, I don't know your prices. Unless you get me a quote, we don't know if this thing is a go. And he's like, yeah, but I win a big percentage of my bids, so therefore, like, it's a good buy for me. But I just found his business model interesting. My brother quotes jobs, like that's just kind of his job. He works for a really big electrician deal, and they quote like multi-million-dollar jobs. He has a side business where he just makes quotes for people. Like, he'll tell you what's involved in this project based on the drawings and maybe what you should bid and what your costs will be. Like, he does it on the side. He teaches college courses about that. Back on topic. So we had a conversation. The relevant part is about how he's taking a risk for quoting this thing because he has to hire an engineer and do that sort of thing. I didn't commission the engineer. He certainly didn't give me a quote for how much these drawings would cost or anything like that. And if I don't go with him on this project, the drawings have no value to me. Anyway, later on, he wants to bill me $3,000 for these engineering drawings. And I was like, no, on this thing, not doing it. I didn't approve this. He's writing as a change order, like it's something that I asked for. I'm like, right here on the paperwork, it says all change orders must be approved by both the contractor and the customer. That didn't happen. I'm not paying this. And I'm like, you're going to have to eat that. You made a bid on something. And what happened was he made the bid. I'll tell you, it was for $53,000. And I'm like, all right, it's a go. Let's build this shop. And then we had an argument. And like days later, he comes back with another quote for $117,000. And I'm like, this is like revenge-based billing. So they were working on it. I stopped it. That's why there's a big pile of mess in my yard. You guys might have seen it the day in the live video. They stopped the demo on it. I was like, I'm not paying $117,000. This guy just can't change the prices. And it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, the architect comes to me and says, hey, if you still owe any money to that GC, don't pay him. Because what a sub can do is they can put a lien against the money that you owe the general contractor and divert it to them, right? If the GC doesn't pay their sub, then instead of paying the GC, you can sort of pay the sub directly and solve the problem. But I'm like, nope, you're in a tough spot, man, because I already finished paying the GC, and therefore your problem is you have to get the money from Ed, the lying cocksucker. So that means that Ed didn't pay Jamal. Ed didn't pay the engineer. There's another guy on the project. We called him Crazy Ron. That guy got paid late, and he threatened to put a lien on me, but he got paid. And then there was another guy named Orlando that didn't get paid. I don't know. But Ed has left a trail of debt on this project. And I'll tell you, I paid Ed. Like I had an argument with him at one point. I'm like, the only guy doing his job on this site is me, because my checks aren't bouncing and they're coming on time. And he took great offense to that. But the project took 3 months, and he said it would take 2 weeks. I was the only guy who was really coming through like they were supposed to. And yeah, so if people didn't hear about the Jamal court case thing, Jamal, I guess, sued Ed and I, for non-payment. But from my perspective, like, I don't pay Jamal directly. I pay Ed. So what I did is what you're supposed to do. Instead of paying Ed the $6,000 he sued for, I withheld it from Ed. Then I ended up putting it in an escrow account. So in the escrow account, that's just like a bank account, but you can't take it out unless someone approves it. And then those two can fight over who gets what. And when we went to the jury, or not the jury, the small claims court, they were ready to like issue a judgment that I just paid the two of them equally. And I talked to the judge and said, look, like, this is going to go against my credit record. When a court orders you to pay someone, that's a mark against you on your credit report. And I was like, this doesn't seem fair. Like, I'm the only one around here who pays their bills. Why should I have the knock on my credit record? And the judge immediately said, you know what? You guys are asking me to write up an order and stuff. You're asking a lot from the court. How about instead you write it up and we'll dismiss the case after all this is done?
And that's what they did. They dismissed the case, and those two split the money. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, it turned out well.
The only difference between you and everyone on To Catch a Contractor, based on everything you've said, is that your work got finished. Like he didn't leave mid-job site and said, "Hey, the money dried up," when in reality he ran off with the money or something like that. Like that's the only difference, is your work got finished. Otherwise, you'd have been in the same boat as all these people, because he's a piece of shit.
But it sounds like a lot of those people paid like more toward it than they should have.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
did you do 50% at the start?
Which was too much, but I did. Apparently,
Right.
10 to
That's the
15% at
minimum.
the start.
That's the minimum that all of these guys say. It's like, do not go over 50%. You know, anything over that, why would the guy have any incentive to come back?
Online, I saw 10 to 15% at the start.
Which I agree with more towards
And
that. But
what
your
happened-
job was also bigger too. Your 50% was some people's 100% too. You know.
So what happened was, at the end of it, he's like, "Woody, you know, money's tight. I finished like 95% of this job. You know, do you think you can give me some more money? I think that's fair." And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, you know, we are like, yeah, it's wrapping up. Things are going good." And things were going better at that point. Like the cleaning staff was in there working at that point. And I was like, "Nope. You know, how about we go the way the contract is? I pay half up front and half when it's completed." I said, "Someday there's going to be a ceiling fan blade that's not installed that's going to hold up your $20,000. And I want you to be motivated to finish the job completely." And that's how it went. That's why he finished the job all the way. Otherwise, he probably would have walked.
Yeah, if you paid more, he would have walked, no doubt. Like, because everything else is horrible and awful, bad work,
Yeah.
redone work. You know, anytime you have to redo work, which you guys had to do, that's getting eaten out of his any potential profit or even breaking even.
I'm pretty sure he lost money on it. You know,
Certainly.
yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no fucking way.
There was a guy on site 7 days a week, probably averaged, 60 hours. And I happen to know he made $40 an hour. Do that for 3 months. Like, that's a lot of the money right there.
He didn't mind.
On just one guy. Yeah, he didn't mind. I think he ended up quitting. I heard he quit. And I left out another guy, Francisco, I'm told, is suing him for not getting paid also.
Didn't
So-
Francisco cut the load bearing beam?
He did.
He did.
Yeah,
That motherfucker.
Francisco's not in the end, I liked Francisco more than most of the other subs. But I also I know Francisco didn't have insurance, so he was like under Ed's insurance, and he earned like a lower rate or something for part of it. Because I think Francisco extended his insurance to someone who wasn't trustworthy, and then he had no insurance for a while, and then he got it back during the course of my project. It just seems like everyone Ed hired was like from the basket of broken toys. They're all showing up in dented Toyota Corollas, no professional vans. And some people misinterpreted. I mean, it's too much house talk. Some people misinterpreted it as like Woody wants to see flashy cars, or like they need to. No. I just want them to have like a professional, like it can be a
work truck.
1989 Econoline van or something. But if your name's painted on the side with a phone number, at least you do that. You're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a thing, HVAC guy. When someone shows up in just a dented old, like beat up Japanese car, that tells me you're unskilled labor. You're not.
Cars are definitely a red flag. I'm not going to sign off on they have to have their company branded on it. But you need a work truck. You need a work truck or work van for tools and shit. Like you shouldn't be showing up in any kind of sedan or for Toyota Corolla or anything. Like, no, you need a place for fucking tools and shit. You're a goddamn contractor.
These people, this guy shows up in a car. He literally didn't have a cordless drill. All he had was a cordless impact wrench, which is super handy. But he's like, this drill bit won't work. Look at this, because it didn't have how a drill works. It has the
it's like a
It has it's a chuck. And the chuck grabs the side of the drill bit. He didn't have anything. He's like, I need a drill bit that has a hex side on the other side. Because all he had, I'm like, that's because you're drilling with an impact wrench. Don't you? I've got a cordless drill. But it just tells me you don't even. This isn't your job. You're an amateur.
I need a drill with a hex end on it.
Those things are really common. Like they usually come in a kit with both of those tools, the regular one and the hammer type.
Right. And
although I almost always go with the impact one. I just feel like it's because like the front face of it is so much shorter. you're able to get into such much more compact areas, and I feel like it's got tons of power. And I'm rarely screwing something that's precision. But he's a fucking carpenter, right? So
Yeah, I use the impact wrench for everything but drilling. And if I'm trying to make a hole, I tend to use the drill. It's good at that.
if it's an angry hole, I'll still use the impact wrench. If it's just like Kitty will have buckets, and she like needs holes in the bottom for like drainage because she like puts tomato plants, and I'm just like, just like those holes don't matter.
Oh, that's what I was
Basically
going
no
to talk
respawn
about.
points in RL.
Remember, like an hour ago, I was like, "Hey, I got a vlog thing that ties into it." So I have an IRL friend now. My contractor and I, we've become friends. I feel like I can proclaim to my world that we've taken our relationship to the friend level. And anyway, my backyard needs to be graded. Like when we put the pool there, there's more impervious surface, and if you just concrete that,
I give it an A. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. So a lot of water would drain towards the house and like into the crawl space and stuff, and that would be an issue. So we're gonna rent a bulldozer. Like I'll be out there in my tractor, and he's gonna rent a bulldozer, and it's like a grown-up's play date. Like I'm already looking forward to it. Like I think my wife is gonna bake for us, and we're gonna operate heavy machinery, and we're going to like reshape 2 acres of land, and it's going to be really fun.
You know what I can picture is it being like, okay, so you're upstairs playing with your trains or whatever. You know, you're in your pajamas sitting cross-legged, and you hear a car driving up, and you hear from the kitchen where Jackie is a yell, "Matt, guess who's here?" And then you hear boop, 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 running down the stairs, and just right outside, just come on in, come on, just like you're a child. And I gotta show you my tractor. Jackie, can I show him my tractor? Yes, Woody, you can show him your tractor. Come on, grabbing his friend, running out there.
It's gonna be
hilarious.
great. It's gonna be now. Picture us in
It's
the
the
backyard, right?
for, like,
Both wearing
40-year-olds.
motorcycle helmets because they have intercoms built into them, communicating on like dirt moving.
I can picture you guys like going to get like smiling, giving each other a thumbs up, looking over your shoulders as you have a tattoo of like the John Deere logo on your scapula. It's funny.
So,
well, that's good for you.
Yeah, we're putting that in motion. I hope it happens next week, but it's hard to be sure. But we're going to, we could fucking get bulldozers and tractors, and we're going to regrade a couple acres, and it's going to be really cool.
It's going to be great. Sometimes I invite a lot of my IRL friends over to do dishes and laundry.
This is fun, though. No, he's the same way. I was telling the guy at Home Depot today about my play date, and he was totally. He was wishing he was my friend. He's like, "Oh yeah, I used to drive rock trucks, and he just loved heavy machinery. That like I like big machines working and doing stuff, and yeah, it's cool." Anyway,
You would have been the kid where like Huckleberry Finn or whoever's over there painting the fence, like he wouldn't have to trick you to come paint it. You'd just be like,
Tom
"Oh
Sawyer.
shit, you got a fence to paint?" Yeah, Tom Sawyer. Yeah. I'll paint that shit. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh,
What are
is
you
it
doing?
admin time, Tris?
Nothing. Tell me what you're doing. I ain't doing nothing. Oh, I loved that little story where he just pretends he doesn't want to let the other kid paint the fence. Great.
Do you still own that parking garage?
West Side Collector Car Storage. I'm wearing the fucking hoodie. I do,
All
yeah.
right.
And we're building a second one in Gardena, about 10
Very
miles
nice.
away.
That implies that
Construction.
it was a good idea.
Oh yeah, we've been sold out for like a year.
I
It's
know,
good.
but sold out can
Wow.
be different things. I could sell it out in a day, and I just
we've been
lose a
sold
ton of
out
money.
at a price that
Exactly. Yeah, you
Yes.
instantly caught where I was going with that.
And
But-
Zach dropped it, but we moved past it. The Corvette's color was minted green. That was the buzzwordy Corvette.
I do like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the park, dude. Building. You know, like I'm not just saying like the world needs more parking lots because that's actually not very good for the world. But if you can build a place where people who want to collect cars don't need to buy some giant estate with their own 20-car garage and can still live in a urban or semi-urban environment like Los Angeles and have their cars kept safe somewhere near but not at their house, I think that is a net positive. And we're high density. You know, my main place is 125 cars in 11,000 square feet. Our new place isn't quite so high density, but it's 200 cars in 26,000 square feet. So it's pretty dense.
Damn. So what made you
Yeah, it's
choose
cool.
to be less dense? Is it a more high-end experience or just the best you could do?
To the first place is in Playa Vista, which is literally across the street from Google and Yahoo. And frankly, the dirt was really expensive. So, the dirt was so expensive that I had to do everything I could to be as dense as I possibly could be. And we built the building from scratch. And so if you're building a building from scratch, that's fundamentally a warehouse, even a very nice one, building a 40-foot tall building versus building a 20-foot tall building, there's not much additional cost there. It's really just the 20 feet of wall. Whereas my new place, we started with existing buildings. I bought a pair of buildings that were next to each other, sort of in the end of this back lot, which is pretty cool. But to take those buildings and then and make them taller, like forget it. So that was out of the question. So we're limited by height. I would make it more dense if the building was taller. I'd put triples or quads in there if I could. But the height, it's only 17 feet tall. So I have to
Is
do
the
doubles.
reason you don't go down because of the earthquakes? Because
no, it's because it's fucking expensive. Going underground is insanely expensive.
Really?
My current building, my building in Playa Vista, my current building has a 40-car underground level, and then we can fit 90 cars above ground, give or take. And the basement was 55% of the cost of the entire building, and holds 30% of the cars.
Now, is the enhanced cost because of the earthquakes? Like you got to have a very
actually it was in part, yeah, but it's more because you're now building a basement with a what you call a deck, the floor of the main floor and the ceiling of the basement, that's your deck. And that has to hold weight, multiples of normal weight. So first off, I learned some shit. Just digging is horrifyingly expensive.
Is it rocky?
No, but it's wet. It's wet and wet.
Give them boots and shovels.
Yeah, did you consider boots?
And shovels?
We had so when you have dry dirt, right? Here's some shit I learned. When you have dry dirt, there are places that you dig out your dirt, you put it in a dump truck. Well, where does it go now? So if you have dry dirt, other construction companies need dirt for other shit, right? So they will take your dirt for free. Okay, so it's I dig it up, it costs me money, but now it's gone for free. If it's wet, it costs you $10,000 a truck to get rid of it.
Because they've got to dispose of it somewhere. They can't.
They have
use
to
it
dispose
as
of it somewhere. Nobody wants it for filler. You got to get rid of it. So,
I
I
got room for like 10 trucks in part of my yard over there.
So
I could just take wet dirt and let it dry.
Across the country.
We when we were digging it out, it's not
I'm
even that it was dude, I'm not talking about rain. I'm talking about straight up like morning dew wet. That's all it takes. It was cheaper to have two full-size excavators, till the dirt with the bucket for like 6 hours a day, so we could get rid of the dirt for free on the truck, dry it. That was cheaper than dealing with the wet dirt. And I'm talking about
that makes
truck
sense,
after truck after truck. You're talking about shit you never think about. It's like this.
Is this unanticipated expense?
I mean, it was unanticipated for me, but like I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about
No. Yeah, my father
like,
was in real estate, and the way he tells it, he's like, "Yeah, dude, just $24,000 checks get written all the time. Like that's just real estate."
I mean, I wanted like to build my first building. The size, the number, and the scale of the checks I was writing was horrifying. I mean, it was so fucked up. Like, and I'm not complaining. I'm just telling a story. it's fine now. We have a good business and we have a good building. But like, those 4 years was like, I'm sorry, this costs fucking how much? Like there's 10,000 a truck.
Did you have some pride at least knowing that you were stimulating the local economy?
Bro, I was stimulating fucking Harvard Medical School with my fucking checks. Like,
every time you hit that pothole on the way to work, you're like, fill that cocksucker. You know what I pay.
Every contractor that worked for me comes to thank you. My kids can now go to fucking
my kids can now go to Oxford.
That's what my orthopedic surgeon tells me when I come in. Woody, the gift that keeps on giving. What you got there?
Yeah, right.
That is fucked up, isn't it? When someone that you're paying like is doing well, and like you want them to do well, but like the same
not
time,
that
like,
fucking well.
I remember when my lawyer showed up in that new Cadillac, and I was like, God damn it! I think I've just bought that bitch.
Yeah. I don't like the attorney's office is too nice. You don't want your attorney to struggle to pay his lease, but also like. When he's living the high life in that shit, when his bookcases are too ornate, it's like, maybe I need a cheaper attorney.
Dude, my moment for that was when my contractors, who I love, and they're fucking great. They're on point and they're, they're so good that in this current project, I put them on top of the food chain. There's another lesson I learned, which is the first project. I hired the architect. I hired the contractor. I hired the manufacturer of our lifts, our big quad stackers. They all worked for me, but no one worked for each other, right? So they would only answer to me. Like I said, I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know anything. So they'd be like, well, the architect says you should do this, and I think you should do this. What do you want to do? And I'm like, fucking, I don't know. I have no idea. And so now the contractor was the best. And so now I put him in charge. So now everybody answers the architect. They all answer to the contractor. And I go, what do you fucking want to do? And I'll pay for it. But my come to Jesus moment with the contractors, it's a multi-generational business. Father and two sons. And there was a grandfather, but he's retired. When I found out that these guys, and I love them, these guys go, do you know what Catalina Island is? The wine mixer, if you will. It's the island off of LA. It's like 25 miles off of LA, and it's kind of like a knockoff. It's the Jersey Shore version of the Riviera, but in California, basically, right? These motherfuckers, they go to Catalina every weekend on their own boats, meaning the father, the grandfather, and the son each take their own fucking boat over there.
The dirt business is booming.
Now do they
together? They're on their own yacht. And
do they come in kind of staggered, or do they sell
together?
A fleet?
Fucking flotilla, the flotilla. And I'm like, wait a minute, you guys, you mean you go over there on the family yacht? No. We each have our own. Fuck.
And they just are contractors, just breaking
you
it in.
Motherfuckers are charging me too much.
Yeah. Taylor,
did you give
Taylor?
like
don't ruin it. But Matt thinks it's $10,000 a truck.
Yeah. They're like telling people in Spanish not to correct him. Like, but sir, we can get rid of it.
Señor, it's 2,000, no 10,000, 2,000.
I can do $17. And he's like, he does not know English. He doesn't know what he says.
Oh my god, bro!
It's funny
That's
imagining like
funny.
you being like a coach in a sports movie, and like all of your employees, they're not working right, and you getting them like taking them on like a pizza party and being like, you guys got to learn to play for the name on the front of your work vest instead of for the name on the back. You play for the West Side Collection.
Dude, I used to own a car
Football
wash
club.
and all the guys were Hispanic and they fucking didn't know I spoke Spanish and they used to talk mad shit in Spanish and they'd find out one day that I spoke Spanish and they'd realize that shit on the day they got fired.
That's like that's something I've fantasized about. Is like being able to speak a different language and hear somebody talking shit about me and be like, oh, like or like speaking Korean back at them. But like in real life, like I don't know how to speak other languages, so it's
You ever
just
see
it's
those
just a fantasy I
Instagram
enjoy.
videos of like white man speaks perfect Chinese? It's like almost kind of racist and like inconceivable that this white dude could learn Chinese. Like,
And well, like I've seen some of those videos, and like the people that are the most blown away by it aren't like young Chinese people there. It's like the old people. It's like the young
they're
people like
probably
try.
super racist.
Yeah,
like
they're
the
like,
old,
infiltrator.
the elders of any culture are super racist, right? That's not exclusive to white people. Like
no, I think that's pretty solid. Solidly.
Don't get me
ingrained.
wrong, we're the kings of it, but there are other cultures where old people are also racist. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but old people all around mostly are
I don't
pretty
know
racist.
that. I don't know that we're less racist than we used to be. I think we're just more quiet about it.
You think so? You think everybody agreed to just be like, yeah, we'll keep this on the inside?
I know we did. You know, we were like, let's tamp it down a little, boys.
Let's tamp it down. We'll just have to pretend to be really about states' rights, so we can we can wear our flags. I hired these fucking retards that ended up, or no, I made a mistake. I went on Home Advisor. And was like, all right, I just want to get a couple people that'll come and mow my lawn this weekend. This was a couple weeks ago. And they came out, they mowed my lawn like 2 Sundays ago and left an enormous amount of just clippings all over my front and backyard, just grass clippings. And by the time I like noticed that, they were gone. And so I like texted the guy when he was setting up the next time. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I paid for you to pick up the clippings also. And there's a bunch of dead grass in my backyard, and it's very unsightly, and there's a bunch in my front yard too. So next time, bring the equipment to take care of that.
Use the word unsightly with a landscaper.
I didn't say that.
Okay, just checking.
This is unsightly. No, I said, hey, the clippings you picked up.
Okay, faggot, I'll get right to it.
I didn't say it like that. And then he came out again today, and these guys they're both morbidly obese. A full mouth of teeth between them. And one of the guys had a the biggest Hard Rock Cafe shirt I've ever seen in my life, tucked into the biggest camo pajama pants I've ever seen in my life. And he's walking around my yard mowing. I'm taking care of stuff in here. I'm really just trying to make sure the noise doesn't bother me with I'm on a call. And I go out again, and piles of grass in my front yard, enormous piles. And I like walked over to one of the guys, and I was like, he was standing by the truck out front while the other dude was on the side of the house finishing some stuff up. And I was like, hey, you guys are going to go back over this and collect all this grass, right? Like this is, I paid for this to be taken care of. And he goes, that's him, brother. And I was like, this is as far as this conversation is going to go. Just saying, I'm just his helper. That's what he said. I'm his helper. That's him, brother. And so I wait for him to come around, a somehow even fatter man. And I can go over to him, and I was like, hey, remember last time I said I wanted the grass clipping picked up because I paid for that? And he was like, well, you know, when do you want me to come back and do that? And I was like, now, preferably. Service now. And he was like, Can't now. I don't have any of the bagging equipment. And where would I put it? Now and I was like,
do you want me to find a place?
I was exasperated at this point. I was just like, it was blowing my mind that I've paid for this service twice now.
You prepaid.
Prepaid because I went through Home Advisor.
Amateur homeowner.
Yeah, Home Advisor. Apparently, I canceled that already. These people are not coming back. I'm going to do it myself tomorrow because it'll be faster for me. And like the amount of indignation this fat fuck had when it was like, I did it very politely. Like I paid for this. Like we had this discussion. Do you remember 2 weeks ago when you came here and we talked about this? Like, I don't want someone to mow my grass and then 3 days later look like my entire grass is dead because there's a big pile of dead grass on it. And he was like, how about we come out on Friday, next Friday, and we'll mow again and collect it all that time. And I was like, no, this is it. If you can't collect it now, thank you for mowing, but that's all. I'm no longer interested. And like the worst businessman in America, he's like, all right, and just left. And so now I've got a chore that these fat fucking retards in their pajama pants couldn't take care of. Got spilled water on my keyboard right there. God,
they're responsible for that.
They're responsible for this. They're responsible for that. I should probably dry that up actually. But that really got my goat today. I was like sitting in here anticipating seeing a perfectly manicured lawn, and they gave me an errand. It would have been fucking easier for me to just do it myself. So fuck these people. I'm going straight to hopefully a neighborhood kid.
Avoid prepaying whenever you can. And if they do 95% of the job and ask for payment, never ever pay. This might sound obvious to you. I don't mean to, but
no,
it wasn't obvious to me my whole life. There have been a handful of times when people get 95% down and explain, Woody, look, we're almost finished everything. And it's like, right. But there's like 600 rocks. You guys were going to stack it on a pallet. Right. We'll come back and do that next week. That's when you get paid. You don't get paid until everything is done. Because I know that you won't come back. You're done.
Yeah. So that's what I do have to grab a paper towel real quick.
I grew up paying people like that, or having my dad pay people like that. People that you can't trust to do their job, and people who are just trying to earn enough money to buy a bottle of liquor sometimes. So like they're not. Once they've gotten to $8, they're ready to cash their chips out. And it's like we came here to work. You can't work an hour and what did you say? 18 minutes? What kind of junky math are you doing over there to figure out that that's $8.14? I found I got to cut my grass by I just saw one of those trucks with the trailer on the back and his number on a placard, and I looked at his gear and it's like, oh yeah, he's got a mower with a mulcher and he's got all the weed eaters, and he's white, of course. And so I called that guy and had him come over, and it's cheap as fuck. It's nothing.
Yeah,
I pay him for the PayPal. Like he comes every week, same day, and then he like bills me through PayPal, and I click one button, and we're all sorted.
When we did this house, right, we had it renovated before we moved in, and it was expensive. People remember the whole story with Jamal and everything, but the lead contractor was like, Woody, look, can you pay us now? We're almost done. All we have to do is like align a door, put on a few light switch covers, and clean the place, which was a big task, right? Imagine 2.5 months of drywall work, right? Like cleaning is a serious task. And it's like $40,000 for some light switches and cleaning. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you sound motivated. That's how I like it. And our relationship had really deteriorated at this point. And I'm like, when you're done everything, when every item on the punch list is it, I got your money sitting in a bank account, right? There's no inability to pay here. There's an unwillingness to pay until you're all the way done. And that's
probably going to give him 20 though, right? Just so he could handle his bills.
Zero. He got fucking zero. Like, look, if you have a day and a half worth of work and you're owed whatever it was, 40 grand or something, that's it. There actually was another 6 grand I held out because Jamal, actually, the subcontractor,
not Jamal,
hadn't been paid. Now, Jamal didn't do the work, so Ed docked him the pay. Ed didn't pay Jamal for the work that he did do. He just paid him for what he thought he should have got. And I'm over here. He put a lien against my house, meaning that like if I were to ever sell it or something, that money would go to Jamal. So I took it was 6 grand. I took the 6 grand, put it in an equity account, and we went to court. And they agreed that Ed was going to pay, and then there was going to be a judgment against me to make this payment. And they're like, "Does everyone agree?" And I'm like, "No, I don't agree." I'm like, this guy doesn't pay his bills. This guy doesn't do his work. And somehow there's going to be a thing on my credit record saying the judge had to order me to pay. I'm the only guy here who does what he says he's going to do. I put the money in an equity account. And the judge was like, yeah, he sounds right, actually. He's the only guy here who fulfilled his obligation. So we agreed to settle it all out of court. So there was no ding on my credit record, which that's how it went. But anyway, don't pay.
You don't pay before the work's done.
You don't pay it all the way done. All the way. Like in Taylor's situation, like everything went on, but whatever, like 15 minutes of picking up grass clippings. Yeah. Well, if you want your money, you'll just work 15 more minutes, I guess. Otherwise, they won't do it.
I told Woody when you're gone, Taylor. You're muted, by the way. I just found one of those, trucks and trailers at a gas station that's got the sign like, Miller's Mowing or whatever the fuck, and I got one of those guys.
But the only thing I spend money on, Taylor, is these days is Mexicans putting concrete in my yard, retaining walls, patios, decks. Oh baby, I can't get enough. I'm on Pinterest all day looking at retaining wall porn at this point in my life. Like, oh man, are those dead men's? How many you got in there? Like, oh, I need to see I need to see this deconstructed. I need to see the DIY video of this thing, man.
Concrete can be curiously expensive. How much? This is rude to ask. Are you spending deep into the 5 digits on this? Like, what do you? It's a lot, right?
No, I'm not at that level yet. But it is expensive. It is expensive because it's like, 2 guys are, I don't know, $500 a day, and all the materials it adds up, but it's not
a lot cheaper than 2 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they get paid by the hour.
Let's talk about that wage gap. All right, because those 2 Mexican fellows, $500 a day. I'm paying $3,000 a day for 2 Colombian women. This is bullshit.
I want
They're
to say
performing different tasks, though.
I mean, they both have
making the
knee pads.
Colombian women perform retaining walls.
the
Something
concrete
like
around
that.
my pool was almost 30 grand, if I recall. Like concrete can run up in price.
That
Yeah.
seems
Just the
excessive.
concrete around your pool was 30 grand.
Do you remember how many
Jesus.
yards of concrete that was?
No, but it was a bundle. Like we kept scope creeping it. Like originally we're like, yeah, we should get a pool. It's
Yeah.
not that expensive. And there'll be like a 4-foot rim of concrete and like grass on the way from the house to the pool that you have to like get your feet dirty. And we're like, all right, no, I guess we don't want that, And the thing about concrete is it's not like you can do a little now and add some tomorrow and add some later because it's just not right. Like you do it
It'll look
right.
stupid.
You do it right the first time, and that's just how it is. So we just kept expanding and expanding the side. We're like, well, what if we want lay down lawn chairs on both sides of the pool? Like we entertain all that much, but so it just kept growing and growing, and in the end, it was a lot of expensive concrete. But we like it, but it's just a lot of money.
You could pretend to be the Great Gatsby out there now. That's all that matters.
You're assuming I'm more educated
Nice.
than I really am. It's probably a magician, maybe.
Yep.
Well, that was a conversation killer.
I just lost you guys for a sec. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know the Great Gatsby story.
Well, I just got some good news from a text. So as Dick doesn't know, but
House
everybody
buying?
listening knows. Yeah, house related. I've been buying a house, and I've put some offers in before on a few, and nothing's panned out. Like the negotiation process, like they weren't being in what I would say are good faith offers to my offers. So ditched those, found another one last week, and then put an initial offer yesterday or the day before, then had a couple back and forths yesterday and today, and just got a text from my agent that they accepted it. And so hopefully, barring the inspection, everything will be good to go. I mean, the inspection, anything can happen, and they might find like, oh, the wiring's all fucked up, and I'll have to cut and run. But I'm pretty excited. So that's very neat.
Congratulations.
So here's my
Thank you.
question coming out of
First
this.
house.
You have been really good about remembering that there's more fish in the sea, right? You didn't fall in love with a particular house and pay 30 grand more than you wanted to or whatever, like some people do. But having done that, where does this house stack rank amongst all the houses that you've wanted so far?
Honestly, like at the top.
Yeah?
It's a layout that I really, really like. It's a ranch style house, and so it's got like the high ceilings on the main level. It's got like I like 2-story houses and like colonials and stuff too, but I don't like the lower ceilings, and I don't like those like wasted rooms that I feel like I don't get any use out of. Whereas in a ranch, you walk in very open. I feel like even if you're not using like an open dining room, it still makes the place feel bigger and happier and lighter. And so I really like it. There's not a lot of work I have to put into it. There's a couple things I want to do for resale, like but nothing huge. So I'm super psyched. I'm very excited to have gotten that.
Well, when
text
you're ready
just
to
now.
buy a lawnmower, you call me and I'll set you right.
I will, because I now I need like adult things. I need a lawnmower. I need a trampoline.
Wait, we veered off course from the adult stuff.
I need a razor scooter to coax all the children in the neighborhood to come play with me.
Gotta get a zip line.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Oh, a zip line, like a real asshole. Yeah, I'm super excited. It's gonna be a ton of fun. I'm already like picking out all the weight room shit that I want. I think I'm gonna do a garage gym because I don't mind parking in my driveway. I'm picking out TVs. What you just said, Woody, where you were like, "Yeah, I want to have full 10 full recliners on both sides of the pool," and then you were thinking like, how many times have we had 10 people here all in need of reclining? Like, I was looking at giant because I want to get this like 85-inch Samsung TV. I was gonna do the projector, but then I was like, no, I want it to be more of a social room because I want to be able to have everybody in there sitting around watching with the lights on, playing pool or whatever else I buy for in there, instead of like it having to be a dark area. So I'm going for the TV instead of the projector. Someone messaged me on Reddit and told me that, and I was like, oh, that's one of those things that I wouldn't think about until the first time I wanted to turn the light on while I had the projector on, and I'd be like, fuck. Well, this was a huge waste of money. So I'm picking that out. But to your point about the recliner things, I was looking at sectionals, like big ass sectionals to have in front of a TV, and I was like, man, I could fit 10, 11 people on that. And then I was like, when's the last time you had 11 people over? And I just pictured myself alone sitting in front of an 85-inch TV in the middle of an 11-person sectional by myself. And it was
paradise.
It's paradise.
That's paradise. Stay the fuck away from my house, everyone.
I need some way to lay down at a 90-degree angle to make proper use of this thing. Like, how can I stretch?
My hands up too. Yeah, I'm doing that.
I like those. I like those couches that are like basically movie seats. It's like they're you broke up. I think it's a Skype thing. I think like if we talk at the same time, Taylor doesn't come through. That's lame. But it's a couch. You can either go 2 wide or 3 wide, or they probably go even bigger. But it's like $1,500 for a 2 wide, which isn't that bad. But it's got like lights and it's got like a whole like the cons. Yeah, cup holder and like power outlets, and it reclines electrically, and it looks really fucking cool. I've been looking at it for a while. Whenever I get the TV, that's coming along with it. Is you're at like 2,100 or whatever. It's probably going to be okay, but you're going to struggle in a year or 2 years. And you're definitely going to struggle in 3. But if you get one that's $3,000, you'll be solid for 4 years, I would say.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
Maybe I should bite the bullet then. I'm trying to budget right now because I just found out how expensive it is to get a tree removed.
Taylor's
so
a new
fucking
homeowner,
expensive.
so he's
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It is.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. It's going well for the most part. Like I'm planting shit in my front yard now, like flowers and stuff, and having rock put down because I'm not doing the mulch game. I'm not doing that every fucking year. I'm getting rock put down, and that's it.
Well, you live in Albuquerque? What are you?
Oh,
you
that's
gonna have a
good,
rock
Taylor,
yard?
because those rocks won't just sink into the dirt. If you do it one time, you'll never worry about it again, because that's how rocks
if they
work.
start to sink, I just add more rocks.
Right. That's different than mulch. You got me.
I've got like 5 feet into the ground of rocks after the years.
Dude, I have a rock driveway, and that's how it works.
The driveway to my dad's farm, yeah, they keep going down. The driveway to my
not
dad's
gravel, like big like river rocks and shit, like in my area where it'd usually be mulched.
How big is
around.
the rocks? Like half a human head, or like?
Oh no, like smaller rocks.
No,
Yeah,
those are
that's
gone.
that's the kind that sinks. Right?
Oh,
Yeah, those are gone. Those are gone forever.
No,
my dad's driveway, he put gravel on it for 15 years. Every year, because like when they come to pick up his chickens, he has that poultry farm. Every it's incalculable, but every 7 weeks, about 15, 30, 60, about 80 semi trucks go down and up the same little stretch of driveway, not counting the ones that carry equipment to pick up the chickens, and that doesn't even count the ones that deliver the chickens. So that gravel is meters and meters thick below the
Wait,
earth's
but like nobody's
crust.
going to be driving on this rock. This is like
that,
like you know the decorative spaces in front of your house
you're-
where you got
you're-
like the rock
okay.
retainer.
You're not doing a yard of gravel. You're doing like mulch.
I meant my front yard, like where you would put mulch around plants usually, like by your front windows and shit. I'm putting rock down instead of mulch.
Put a layer of plastic there first, so no.
Yeah,
grass
I'm
will ever
definitely
grow out.
doing that.
That's a thought.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Yeah. Did
I
you say it was your dad or your dad's friend?
Yeah.
Kyle with the big
My
driveway.
dad. Yeah. You know, the way he solved it, whenever they tear up an asphalt road, They have this machine that's ridiculous. It scoops under the asphalt and flips the old asphalt into it and then grinds it up into this powder. He would buy that powder by the dump truck load. And when I say powder, it's like tarry gravel. And that stuff, whenever trucks drive over it, instead of sinking, it turns back into asphalt. So he got like a...
That's cool.
It's called recycled asphalt product.
Yeah. And if you really want to like... Yeah, it's great stuff because like the all those trucks that were the bane of his existence became the solution to turning that powdered shit into actual asphalt. And I don't think the EPA would like it, but a little bird told me if you go out there and soak it all in diesel fuel on a hot day, it'll really get sticky and really compact down together well.
I solved it differently. I got a tractor implement called a land plane, and once or twice a year I come by, it pulls all the rock up. And it's like for a day or two, it's sort of rock and dirt. And then after the first rain, it looks like I just bought rock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not cheap. I've bought it a few times just for my little uses. Like doing the driveway was like $900 on that short driveway, that last driveway I had that was just, it's like $900 worth of rock. It seemed excessive.
Yeah, I think I paid more the first time, and then another time I got a little bigger rocks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You've got quite the driveway. I bet it's a little more than $900.
2 driveways. We're gonna get one re-asphalted, and that's 5 digits. I'm gonna call Ed and have him negotiate for me.
How much?
I don't know. I've never negotiated a plantation driveway before.
You're about right.
You're about right. Yeah,
Wow.
the driveway to Dad's house I think was like, of course it's been years ago, but it was 12.
Yeah, I got a quote at 27.
Yeah,
So-
yours would be, with inflation and with 2 driveways. You're gonna love it though. You're gonna love it.
It's embarrassing now. We have a pothole in it, and it I should have gotten it already.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. That fresh new it's like new car smell, new asphalt smell.
I do like that smell.
Really?
I like it. Oh, it's so carcinogenic.
Feel brain cells popping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
good
reminds me
stuff.
of playing on the asphalt in like grade school.